Guys, welcome back to the Marvelous Chats podcast. My name is Finto. Tonight on the podcast, we have Hoffman, Kyle Crunk, and Xavier Wolf. We're going to be talking about all the Disney Plus juicy news from today, and we are reviewing the original Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. Basically, what we are doing is we are doing a full rewatch of every single Spider-Man movie from now until the release of No Way Home. So, without further ado, I'm going to bring the boys in. Say hi to them. If you're listening to us on Spotify, hit the noti bells. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Throw a like on the video. Let's get them. They're coming in. Yo, yo, yo.
Yo, Finto.
What's happening? You're the only one here?
I chat to you. Yeah. Hoffman went to go get computer parts off his porch. She's back.
That's okay. That's
Alex
okay.
hasn't stopped in yet.
That's okay. What's up? What's up? How are you? What is happening, dude?
Oh, I'm listening on this stream. I thought I was sitting here.
Oh, look, we got an Alex.
Yay! We're all here.
Hey guys.
What's happening?
Hello.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday to everybody. What's up?
Happy Disney Plus Day.
Yes, happy Disney Plus
yeah.
Day. What did we think? What did we think? Was it a successful day? Is it even over yet?
It feels over, yeah.
Was there an Obi-Wan Kenobi reveal? I didn't see it if there was.
No, I haven't
I've
seen
seen-
anything on Kenobi. I think that would blow up the internet if we've seen that.
Yeah.
But I've only seen Marvel things, and then I'm looking, and I think that if we had anything else coming, they would release it. It's 5 o'clock on the East Coast.
Yeah.
You know, they usually put stuff like noon on the West Coast is like their usual upload time for stuff.
Hell yeah. Like, they started
they're
putting up
releasing
content
it.
early. Like, very early. Like,
Yeah.
like 2 p.m. my time.
Yeah,
So-
very surprised they put like the trailers up on Disney Plus. That was very interesting. That was an interesting move.
Yeah, absolutely. What did you? I know you watched the footage live on your stream. I was there for that. Moon Knight looks great.
Yes.
Yeah, it looks great. I was very impressed by the Hawkeye footage as well. I think that footage really kind of changes the vibe. Like, I think the original trailers kind of were cheesy and I didn't know what to take of it, but like just watching some actual footage of the two of them just interacting and getting an expansion of the scene that we've seen in the trailer and stuff, I just thought it was really nice. Thought it was really nice, really nice. I'm very surprised we didn't get any Star Wars content. Like, what the hell?
I would just gonna bring it up. It looks like they did put a 1 minute look at Kenobi.
They did that yesterday, though. Is this the sizzle reel?
Oh, okay. No. Yeah, I didn't know that went up yesterday.
That went up yesterday, yeah. Oh, I'd say the Star Wars fan base are going crazy because like I was kind of keeping an eye on the likes of Twitter and stuff because Disney Plus themselves were like, watch this thread for all the new content that's coming out, and there was everyone in the comments was just like, Kenobi, where's the Kenobi trailer? Like, and I could even see. I just went to YouTube. I just want to see if I could find something. And Star Wars Theory, the biggest Star Wars creator on the planet, he's live right now. Where's Kenobi trailer? Kenobi.
It's a little embarrassing for Star Wars production because like Marvel Studios got their 2021 reel out, Pixar has their 2021 reel. And
Yeah.
there's nothing for Star Wars. That's kind of weird, man.
It is crazy. Like, why would they? If they weren't going to put anything out, why would they not have saved that sizzle reel for today?
Yeah.
That's what I don't understand that at all. That makes me think that maybe we might get something later. Like, I'm gonna keep an eye, and I think, you know, if you guys can as well, maybe keep an eye while we're talking, just to see if anything goes up while we're live, because it'd be great to get a live reaction to a Kenobi trailer. Would just be fantastic. You know, they put up that little special look at the Boba Fett documentary. I don't know if you saw that. It's like a 32 second little clip of it, but they actually released, along with the clip, they just put the little docu-series up on Disney Plus, so it's there. You can actually watch it now. I think it's 24 minutes long, so it's a kind of just under the helmet, the legacy of Boba Fett is what it's called, and it looks like it's just kind of telling the story of how he became such a cult classic, when in the original movies, I think he said like 3 words, and he was on screen for something like 15 minutes in total for the original trilogy. And it's like, how had someone with such a little presence in the films gained such a popularity? And they think it was like, you know, down to the suit and the times that, you know, it was like 1982 or 1980 when he first came in. Like, and he does look kind of crazy. Like, imagine seeing that in 1980 for the first time. I think that would like really blow people's minds, you know?
Yeah,
for sure.
It was the mystery. It's the mystery that feels cool about him. You know, he's like a space mercenary who you know nothing about. But even Darth Vader's a little bit nervous about him. You know, you get the sense that like he is almost an equal to Darth Vader. And so it's awesome. It's amazing. And then, I don't know, we saw him in The Mandalorian. He just like waving his little stick around, you know, like it just didn't feel that badass to me. And that's why I'm like kind of like Book of Boba. I'm like, like it's cool to see him, but you know, it's the mystery of the character that is frightening, that I think is cooler than Disney gives credit for, because they just seem to be trying to uncover all of the backstory that we don't need to know. Not backstory, and create news stories about it.
So I was watching a bit of a breakdown on the Boba Fett trailer, and didn't really take note of it really too much myself, so I can't take credit for this. But it looks like at the start of the trailer that he's coming out of like a regeneration tank or something. And as you kind of see the trailer, his hair's growing back and he's like losing all of his scars and stuff. So it looks like he's... Now, I don't know if this is like the actor getting into shape and stuff, and like, you know, in real life, but it looks like they're bringing in a storyline where he's going to be like rejuvenated and brought back to his prime. And what a lot of people are suggesting is that he's going to have interactions with a young Luke Skywalker. It's going to take part straight after Mando season 2, and you know, Luke's going to go back to Tatooine and have a confrontation with Fett, which sounds insane. Sounds insane.
Would be fun.
Yeah, I think that'd be great. Yeah.
We didn't have Kyle last week. I want to know Kyle's reaction to the Eternals, because we have no idea what he thought about the movie.
Yeah.
Break it down, brother.
I enjoyed it. I feel like they had a tall order ahead of them in order to get. I think that like 90% of people that go out to see these movies have no clue who the Eternals are or anything like that. So they had a really tall order ahead of them to get everybody interested. I was kind of shocked a little bit that they just decided to do like the beginning opening credits kind of almost Star Wars like. I think it helped, but you can just kind of tell that they were trying to, that was their biggest struggle, was to get you to know why you should care about all these people, how it makes sense into the world right now. And I think they did a pretty good job. Like if I had to rate the whole movie overall, 7.5 to 8 out of 10 for sure. I really enjoyed the combat scenes, really enjoyed the pacing seemed pretty good for what they had to cover for the whole movie. And like I just found myself wanting to see more of like of everything. Like if I could go back and see like more of Druig throughout the time, that'd be cool. My favorite personally is Kingo, because I think he has the coolest power. But Druig has the coolest armor. So those are like my 2 favorites. I really enjoyed the whole movie. I wish we got more of the Black Knight. I really was thinking there was going to be like we got almost nothing out of it for that whole movie. So those are my only like complaints.
It was definitely a nice little teaser though to have, you know, Dane Whitman on the sidelines.
Yeah.
Just to like you know, give us
the whole time.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, like for your two favorite, I think mine were Phastos, and actually, like after thinking about it, I really like Makari.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah,
cool.
she was great.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Thena was pretty badass. Her powers were like my second favorite. I thought she was choreography and everything.
I thought she was a fantastic character. I just loved her struggle, like the internal struggle that she had. I'm dying. I'm actually really looking forward to seeing the movie again. I probably won't go see it in theaters. I'll wait for the Disney Plus release, but I really want to kind of try and attack the movie with a fine-tooth comb.
The biggest thing I want to ask: who do you guys think the voice was at the end? Since I'm sure
Blade. It's 100% Blade. It was confirmed.
Blade?
Yeah, it was confirmed.
Okay.
Blade.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah,
Blade. A second of me thought it was Kang for a second.
That'd be cool.
There is some like behind the scenes stuff that like it was up for debate who that voice was gonna be, who Marvel was gonna put in there. and Doctor Strange was actually like the #2 candidate, and they decided to go.
That makes
with Blade.
sense. That makes sense.
And
Strange
kinda,
makes sense.
you know, confirms the idea that like if it could have been Doctor Strange, then it's the idea that like the Illuminati or like the Dark Avengers, whatever it is, like a supernatural, you know, like Blade, Doctor Strange, the Black Knight, like they're taking on like a more supernatural team that they're putting together there. Like kind of confirms it 100%.
Yeah.
Mhm.
One day we should do a cover of Amalgam, just for fun.
Well, that'd be really fun.
I don't know what cover of Amalgam is. What is this?
Amalgam is a crossover they did of Marvel and DC, and they literally have like one character that's named Doctor Doomfate or Strange. I don't know. He's literally,
Doctor Strange Fate.
Yeah, he's Professor X, Doctor Strange, and Doom all in the same mind, and he is aware that he is in a crossover comic, and he is trying to continue his existence.
Nice.
Like, he's trying to continue the comic so he can keep living.
Yeah.
It's a cool little.
Dude, I
things they do.
really think I've been reading like a bunch of stuff like this week. There's been a good bit of talk of like crossovers. You know, I know like Dwayne The Rock Johnson jokes about it, but that guy has so much fucking power that like, you know, he's like I want to make a movie with Deadpool, Black Adam, and Wonder Woman, and it's like he could fucking do it. Like it's possible, you know. And I think like, you know, they actually have like a lot of like source material to work with, and like the fact that they've now in Eternals referenced Batman and Superman and everything, you know, it's kind of it feels like in a way that they're kind of actually maybe lining it up. It's kind of nuts. But if anyone can make it happen, it's Ryan Reynolds and fucking Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Like,
Yeah.
like seriously, like Deadpool 3 could have like Black Adam references in it and even throw him into it. Like, you know, I truly believe we're living in a time right now where this is all absolutely possible. It's fucking crazy.
And a year or two from now, it's Ryan Reynolds, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, and Hugh Jackman. They're just running MCU. They're like, yeah, we have the star power. We're gonna say how things go.
Yeah.
It's funny that you mentioned references too. Like after, you know, from watching the first Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire, he ad-libbed those moments with the webs, like trying out the web, and
Go, web,
because
go.
of the ad-libbing. Yeah, so he
One of my
says "up,
favorite
up and
scenes.
away,"
Yeah.
"up, up and away" web, which is a reference to Superman and Shazam.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's
True.
pretty cool references that they like to splice in there.
It's true. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. Like I think it's just we're living in wild times, and I think anything is fucking possible at this stage. What did you think of She-Hulk? I know we only got like a 20-second clip, but
Um,
I want to see more of a trailer because I think it's gonna be weird having a lead that you can like 100% tell is like a 3D model, you know, because you could tell it's as good as they can do. But I thought the colors on her were surprisingly like vibrant because I think a lot of times they make Hulk very dull, and like she was like green, you know,
Yeah.
she was like full stop green. And then they put her in like kind of her classic suit. I thought it was good, man. I enjoyed the teaser.
I thought she'd be like more buff. Like she seemed kind of skinny. Like I've
no,
just,
that's supposed to be her design. She's very sleek, like Amazonian type, like
Yeah.
not too muscular,
I
but
don't know
more
about
athletic.
sleek. Speaking of design, Max says She-Hulk has cakes.
Yeah, no kidding.
Cake.
Oh, yeah, they were showing
I-
a lot of leg there.
I've seen plenty of drawings of her in the comics, and she seems a lot more jacked in the comics. That's all
There-
I'm saying.
This is a very like, or it feels like a 1990s She-Hulk. Like the modern like the She-Hulks I've seen are like bulky and like are thick, you know.
Yeah.
Like the one they have now like looks like Hulk with tits on him. Like, it's,
Yeah. There's
you
a lot
mean
of,
the Savage She-Hulk?
there's a lot of She-Hulk stuff, and she looks like the way they draw Wonder Woman, but she's green. Like, you know, it's like she's
right.
proper Amazonian. Like,
Oh, so you
goddess,
think they'd
like-
even give her enough muscles? Is what you're
yeah.
saying?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think she still needs to be like a woman, but I just think she should look like CrossFitter or something. Like, you know, she just kind of just doesn't look like she's She-Hulk, like, you know, to me.
You guys ever
Yeah.
seen that court clip where the judge is like, and it says here, you said, damn, she's thicker than a bowl of oatmeal, and the guy's like,
Yeah, she really doesn't have arms either. I'm just looking at like.
That's what I'm saying,
screenshot
bro.
trailer.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
She just looks like a normal, like, kind of fitness woman, but she's green. You know, it's kind of just strange. I don't know. And maybe she'll get stronger
like
and
the Lou
bigger as it goes
Ferrigno.
on.
She's like the Lou Ferrigno of She-Hulk.
I don't want her to be like Lou Ferrigno. I'm just saying she should be like, you know, like the Amazons in the Snyder Cut. You know, the women that are like knocking the pillars down and they've got the six packs.
They look
and
like
they're giants.
Spartans, dude.
They're real women. Like they're like giants. Like, you know, I think that's what she should look like. You know.
So I pulled up a picture just now, and so she's basically looking at an old photo of herself. And so
That's very funny.
that's what I'm saying is like it's this very sleek design that she has from her earlier days, whereas like you see now she's very like buff and like basically hulked out.
Yeah, I think that the one below is a bit too much, to be honest. Like I don't think she should be that big, but like somewhere in the middle would be nice. You know?
That's where she is right now in the comics, is like super hulked out. She's savage, and she's reaching to the point of World Breaker, and she's actually starting her own World War Hulk series.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I'm hearing
cool.
I'm hearing audio coming from somewhere. I don't know if it's coming from you, Alex. Yeah,
Probably.
It was. You've got some like superhero music playing in the background while you're talking. Does that like psych you up when you're on the podcast?
No, I actually have some additional trivia from Spider-Man that I have playing right now.
Amazing.
He's got a motivational speaker in the background, Alex Robbins or whatever that guy's name is, Tony Robbins.
Amazing.
Oh, Tony Robbins?
You will kick today's ass.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, what else did we get? I really loved the Hawkeye stuff. She-Hulk was cool. I don't know, what do we think about Miss Marvel?
I don't. It just looks.
It's a strange take.
It's generic so far.
Yeah, like it looks like it's gonna be the most. No offense, CW show out of all the Disney Plus. You know.
Yeah.
I just.
You can't say that without offense being attended. CW.
No,
show.
you can't. It's fine.
You know, I don't know. It's like, I think the reason I don't care at all either is like I'm not really interested in young kids' stories.
Yeah.
There is an audience for them. It's probably being made for them. It's not being made for me. I don't really care to see like teenagers save the day. It's always been the most ridiculous thing to me. And when I was a teenager, it was fun. But like, you know, you hit a certain age, you're like, okay, okay.
Yeah.
I think Disney Plus.
I think we have
thinks
Spider-Man.
they've
We don't
done-
need it anymore. You know?
I think what they think that everything they did this past year with their shows on the platform, I think they're thinking they were better received than they were, because I feel like some of this could have been held back. Like, you need to build that, like, you need to get everybody to that point where they're like, we don't care what you release, we're going to watch it, and we're not there yet.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think they're gonna watch it no matter what. I'm watching no matter what, and I hated it. God dang it!
Yeah,
like
that's
I
fair.
hate Loki. I'm showing up for season 2 though. Like I'm here.
That is true.
You don't want that old school Kids in America music playing in the background while they're like running through a hallway or something.
No.
God, no.
But you know, we were talking about the other day. Miss Marvel was supposed to be released the end of this year. It was supposed to come out fall 2021. That was like the original plan they had when they were announcing all this stuff. At like the last big Disney Plus deal they did, and they moved it all the way back to like fall 2022. They pushed it back an entire year, which is wild to push it back that far.
Yeah.
I think what they're doing is the same thing that they're doing with the movies, is reshoots. And in addition to that, they've changed her powers to be less like relatable to Mr. Fantastic, but it's not. But like if you were to read the comics, you would say like, oh, okay, their powers are different. But if you were to see it just on screen, you wouldn't know how. Yeah, you wouldn't know how the hell it happens.
Yeah, because like they've said that she will not be an Inhuman. Like, you know, they're rewriting her history. So I suppose it's like, we're gonna rewrite her history. We may as well just change her powers, because you know all the hardcores would be like, you know, how does she have the same powers if she's not Inhuman and all this sort of stuff. So
right,
it's a dangerous game, and I think, you know, maybe they just need to push it back, because they're pushing back Doctor Strange, and you know they're pushing back other stuff, and I'd say they tie in somehow. So you know,
her powers are just cooler than Mr. Fantastic's, to be completely honest. Just for the fact that it's like, dude, like seriously, when you think about Kamala Khan being able to pull herself from the future in order to make herself larger, it's nuts. If you like, and you know, part of her from the past as well, like basically she's able to grow and shrink in size because of the molecules that she shares between her future and past self. And it's insane. Like it's really cool sounding.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, of course, like Mr. Fantastic is a staple. Like, you know, you know, it's someone that you can't really compare too often, but this is the one point where I'm like, yeah, there's a huge difference.
I wonder, are they just doing that because they haven't introduced Mr. Fantastic yet and they want to do all those sort of powers with him first before they do with anybody else? Because, like, you know, doesn't it would kind of take away from the magic if you had someone who could stretch and everything and you're seeing all this CGI stuff and then it's like Mr. Fantastic comes along and starts doing it and it's kind of like, yeah, I've seen that all before, like, you know.
I think they took the concept a little too, like, specific though, because her ideals is like embiggen, so like her body parts grow. But Mr. Fantastic can't do that. He elongates himself. So it's like he's a Stretch Armstrong. She's more of like a, you know, like a water balloon. She gets... there's not really much... like, you can really make a difference. But I agree wholeheartedly that by showing her first and having her, like, show off any sort of stretching or growing or shrinking in size, comparable to both Ant-Man and Mr. Fantastic, kind of takes away from the whole perspective of them looking unique.
Sure. And I could also see a world where, like, they want her to line up with the more of how Captain Marvel's powers work, because she is going to be in the movie with them. And so, like, Photon and, like, her powers look like are similar to those two people. Mm-hmm. Photon from WandaVision, and then, you know, Captain Marvel, as we know. And so she's going to be in the movie with them, and they're calling it the Marvels. I think there might be some symmetry they want to get between all their powers, kind of looking... you know, very bright and like lights and fantastical.
Yeah, because I think there's a photo of Kamala Khan using her power, and it looks like projected. So yeah, I can totally see that.
Yeah. And in the trailer, she's like walking on the air. You can kind of see it in the reflection, and she's like walking on like air, but it's like, you know, it's a projection of like energy, you know, that she's stepping on. Whatever that is.
It looks like it reminded me of the scene where, you know, where Star-Lord is walking on Strange's projections in Infinity War to attack Thanos.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what that reminded me of when I saw it.
I agree. That's a good call. Dude, Moon Knight's trailer from the Disney Plus thing.
Yeah.
Like, man.
Very Batman as well. You know, he was like just like punching him and all, like, oh yeah, it's cool.
Those were the weakest punches I've ever seen in my life, bro. He's like, oh yeah, getting it in there.
I was watching you react to that, and I was like, I can't wait for him to see this because he's gonna love this bit. And then you started slagging the punches. I was like, oh no.
Well, I wasn't wrong.
I know you weren't. You were 100% right.
No, it was really cool though, because one, like, his suit looks fantastic. I love the little trick they did, the little illusion they did with like his reflection in the mirror or the case or whatever, where he walks off screen and his reflection's still staring back at him. Like, that didn't move at all. Like, that was a cool little trick.
Yeah.
Really excited to see how his performance actually is, because we kind of heard his voice. It's a little weird.
He's got a strange British accent. I don't know.
Yeah. So, excited to see an actual trailer. Excited to see if they really, like, kind of do the iconic Moon Knight, like, you know, when he's flying in, like, just his iconic looks. We got none of that in the trailer, but what we did get looked really cool. I'm most excited for that. That one really felt like almost like a Daredevil show, right? Like, it had that on the ground tight feeling that Daredevil does.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Hoffman and I both watched read the most recent comic of Moon Knight as well, and oh man, it's so hype. Like, I can't wait for the next issue to come out. And you can also see in that sneak peek that he is going to be dealing with his DID, which is going to be really interesting. Like, I wonder how they're going to actually take that as they go along in the series. If they're going to, like, emphasize it, or if they're just going to have little moments of, like, quirks that happen where, like, you know, he experiences, like, these, moments of, like, almost schizophrenia, like, with his dissociative identity disorder. I think it's gonna work really well, especially if they're gonna follow, like, as much of the comic as they can.
Yeah, I think they're gonna full send it. I don't think they're nervous about it at all. I think they love the idea and they're just gonna go for it. And because that it does feel like kind of a throwback TV show, you know, where it's like, yeah, he has a weird mental thing. All right, like, here it goes. See how it works out.
Yeah, so Mex just mentioned it in the chat there. He's more excited for the announcements, and they do have a couple of good shows on there. I heard that potentially why they're doing a Spider-Man animated series is because after the events of No Way Home, Tom Holland is going to Sony. So how they continue the Spider-Man story in Marvel is they do his freshman year of college after he finishes high school is going to be an animation. What do you think of that?
Ooh,
It's like a filler.
I guess. Yeah, I'm gonna have to see it. I don't think the initial drawing looked that good in the logo, so I want to see like what the actual show looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. If that's how they gotta do it, it's how they gotta do it. But I just feel like it's like the I'm Groot show where it's just like it's intended for kids. It's like this is a kid show. Watch this to be for you.
Yeah, I don't even think I'm gonna watch that Groot thing, to be honest. I really don't.
We got to do it for the content.
Well, if we're gonna cover it on the podcast, I suppose I probably will. But like, it's definitely probably the very bottom of my list of all the new stuff.
It's the one thing Finto won't talk about on the podcast.
No, like I'll talk about it if we have nothing else to talk about. Like, if there's nothing else around that time, sure, why not?
We are not doing any more than 5 minutes an episode. Okay, we are not going
that's
in depth.
fine.
Like, hey, what do you guys think? Yeah, bad. All right.
I'm Groot.
I am Groot.
Yeah, that's it. Great dialogue in today's episode.
Yeah.
He said, "I am and Groot."
I am Groot.
The Echo show, apparently Echo is going to make her appearance in Hawkeye, so we're going to see Echo very soon. And then the Echo show is basically being labeled as Daredevil season 4, so most of the cast from the Netflix series is actually going to be in the Echo show. And this leads me to asking Alex, how many episodes in are you to Daredevil?
I almost finished it. I'm on episode 9 now.
Of season 1?
So yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. How do you like it?
I mean, I love it, and I as I'm watching it, I realized that I watched almost all of it.
Oh, really?
Before I stopped.
Oh, okay.
Because but I do love the most recent episode that I just watched, where the reporter was going to like write down this this whole like report and make it seem so heroic and forthcoming and whatnot, and then you see Wilson Fisk go out on the podium and say the exact same thing, and I'm like, this dude is a jerk.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
Oh, man.
Fisk is absolutely incredible in the series, and I'm so happy that he's like coming over to the MCU. It's just going to be incredible. Like,
oh my god, I can't wait, bro. If it's for real, if it's for real, oh.
3 episodes of Hawkeye is what I hear.
Which I'm for. I'm all for it.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Oh my god. It's amazing. Oh, I'm so excited for that. Like, I just, like, the footage for Hawkeye has just gotten me so excited for the show. I just, like, I get a completely different vibe off the stuff that we saw today. It's fantastic.
They went too heavy holiday themed in the original stuff.
Yeah,
that's kind of what made it seem not as good.
Yeah, it kind of felt like a joke nearly, right? And
yeah,
this is just a lot more serious. And you notice that Jeremy Renner's character, he's doing like sign language in a part of it as well. So like I presume his hearing's going to deteriorate fast during the show, which I'm kind of surprised about. I thought it was going to take longer. So yeah, I'm very interested to see where it goes.
You just did Hot Ones as well. I didn't finish the episode yet.
I haven't watched it yet, but yeah,
I'm only like a couple of questions in. But as usual, they've skipped a lot of the Hawkeye stuff and focused on some other stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah. They seem to be actually quite intelligent how they're getting cast members on and stuff from shows. Like they're definitely doing them on purpose. Like they had Salma Hayek on last week just before the release of Eternals, and now they have him on in 2 weeks.
I think Marvel probably like gives them a list like, you need to go do some of these media.
Yeah.
Right now.
I absolutely love Hot Ones. It's fantastic.
The interview style and the questions that he can come up with is very. I don't know if you guys have ever watched what's Nardwuar.
Yes, I have.
Nardwuar. He's very the Nardwuar of the media, where Nardwuar does like music and all these people in that industry. I feel like Hot Ones is the same thing for television, TV.
Just like really deep research and like deep introspective questions, like really digging, which is why like it's a fun show to watch because they're all eating hot stuff. But like it is, the best interview show on YouTube right now, and like it's better than any of the late night shows, that's for sure. So
It's awesome to see people get shook by the questions. Like,
Yeah,
damn, okay,
I was about to
because
say.
they go through so many
Yeah.
interviews.
This
That when
this
they get
guy,
that question,
this dude, what's his name, Sean Harris or whatever,
Sean Evans.
or Evans, sorry.
Yeah.
He's just so fucking good. Like, you know, like almost every guest he has them shook. Like, how do you know so much about me? Like, you know, it's very impressive. Like, I think one of the very first episodes I watched was like before I really got into it was the only recently the John Bernthal one. Like, was just such an amazing interview. Like, I was like, holy shit, I want to watch more of these because it's not just about eating the wings. It's actually a really good interview. Like, you know,
and he eats those wings like a champ at this point. Like,
Yeah.
I've had some of those hot sauces, some of those ones towards the end, especially the Bomb Insanity.
yeah,
Is designed for pain.
it's disgusting.
And he
bro.
just
It's not even.
takes it.
Yeah, it's just it's a ridiculous sauce. Like, it's so stupid. Yeah.
What do you think about Ironheart and Armor Wars like together like that? It never really like dawned on me we're gonna have like two Tony Stark disciple shows going on. I don't know if they're gonna be at the same time or what, but what do you think about that?
I don't know. Like, I'm not a big Rhodey fan, to be honest, but you know, I'm obviously gonna watch it. I'd be curious to see what kind of other supporting cast members from like Iron Man come into it. Like, will Happy be in it? Will what's the
I
young
feel like
kid?
Happy is a must almost.
If he's still alive when the show comes out, you know, I kind of feel like
I mean,
he might die in Spider-Man. Like, I kind of feel something crazy is gonna happen in Spider-Man.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why. Like, I
You
kind of
think we're
get the
losing
feel.
like a main character.
I think
type thing?
I think Happy might die. I think so, like, you know, something might happen where he's trying to protect May or something, and he might get taken out. Like, again, this is just complete speculation. I didn't read anything anywhere. I just kind of get that feeling, you know. I just don't know. Like, it's like, you know, does Favreau, like, taking all of his real world shit out? You know, he's so heavily involved in Star Wars. It's like, does the character of Happy work without Tony? You know, I'm kind of already bored of him trying to get stuck into Aunt May. You know, I'm like, I don't really care anymore. You know what I mean? And like, that was in 20 minutes of one movie. It's like, I don't need to see any more of this. You know, and it's
The
like,
chaperone thing is more funny than him hitting on Aunt May all the time.
yeah, and like,
that's even kind of played out in the first movie. Where
Exactly. So for me, I don't know what kind of value Happy has going forward. So I think, you know, a kind of shocking death scene could be really good for him. Like, you know.
See, I think he still holds a good cameo power going forward. So I don't know if they would kill him because he is one of those characters that would always be like nice to kind of see come back, check in with Tom, and just like, how you doing, bud? Like, kind of thing. So I don't know. But I do see where you're coming from. I feel like if they were gonna kill someone that's been around from like the beginning, he's like the lowest hanging fruit at this point.
Yeah.
They definitely want to give Spider-Man like an Uncle Ben moment in some way, right? Like, so like if Happy could be like an Uncle Ben, he's someone who's been there. Tony's kind of like his Uncle Ben also. But yeah, I could totally see it.
Instead of giving him his actual Uncle Ben, they just have given him these multiple little ones.
Yeah, don't be a role model for Spider-Man in the MCU. Every one of them is getting picked off. I just like I wish they had more kind of mid-level characters like Happy in the MCU who have through lines to everyone. Like Agent Coulson was somebody who like carried through so many different films. Happy's somebody that carries through so many different franchises. And like I kind of wish we had a bit more of that in the MCU going on instead of just having like, you know, hey, Falcon showed up in Ant-Man. Like I love having kind of the non-important people show up because that makes the world feel real. You know what I mean?
What's that chick from How I Met Your Mother who's always with Fury? She's a good one, example of that.
Yeah.
Oh, Hill?
No. Yeah.
Yeah, Hill. She's a good example of that. I agree with you. We need more of those people that they're supporting, like literal, like the logistics background people that we care about. Because like if you think about Wanda and Wong, Agent Wong, wasn't that what was his name? Was it Agent Wong? Yeah, he was a great character that everybody liked, the FBI dude, and they brought him back. We need more of those.
His name was really Agent Wong.
No, it's Jimmy Woo.
Jimmy Woo, Wong.
I was like, Wong's coming through every different film.
Yeah,
gotta take a second for me to get
Agent
that through.
Woo.
I love Woo. He's fucking brilliant. He's very funny. I love characters like that, and I think what I think what they're doing now in the MCU is like, you know, they're definitely re-establishing the street level heroes. So I think there's going to be a whole kind of street level universe, and then they're going to go to the stars and beyond with, you know, Marvels and Guardians and all these other people. Like I'm going to guess, like, you know, Adam Warlock is getting a big part going forward. We've got Star Fox coming in. You know, it's I think it's going to be very divided, the MCU, and it's nearly going to feel like separate universes, just because we're going to have Spider-Man and like Captain America, like Punisher, Daredevil, all these people that are just like, you know, going to just stay on Earth and fight on Earth, and then we're going to have like the Galactic Wars as well. Like, so I think it's going to feel very different.
Because you brought up Guardians, did you see they started the filming of it? James Gunn put out like an official first photo, like, hey, we're all here. And there's someone new in the cast there that wasn't really talked about or announced until that photo came out. Chadwick something. A lot of hot takes that he might actually be Silver Surfer, because James Gunn is saying that he cast that guy in a role that like so many people in Hollywood were trying to get. So it's a big role.
Yeah.
And he, you know, he's kind of got this Shakespearean background, and that's kind of Silver Surfer's motif, is this, you know, grandeur, you know, Shakespearean type of intellect and speaking pattern.
Yeah, like I think I know the article. I think I read the same article that you're talking about, and I think, didn't he say that he worked with him on a different movie? Said he was like one of the most talented actors he's ever worked with, and he's like, I need him in this movie. So
yeah, Suicide Squad. He worked with him on his last one, so
yeah.
They're very connected. Like, he knows what he can do. He knows how good of a character actor he is.
Yeah.
And like I would be absolutely blown away if Guardians of the Galaxy introduces Adam Warlock and Silver Surfer in the same movie. Like, just that movie's gonna be off of the chain if those two characters come in.
Yeah.
Just how much, you know, they're covering in the MCU.
And it's Gunn's last movie as well, and he kind of jokingly said, and I don't know how serious this is, but he's like, you know, I got a Suicide Squad movie. I pretty much killed half the cast and just, you know, dropped the mic and bailed. And he's like, I'm going to do the same with the MCU. He's like, I'm going out on a high here. So like, yeah, I'm worried. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. Like, but yeah, I think, you know, Max has just said in the chat there, you know, Galactus. It's like, where, like, you have to do something like Galactus next, don't you? Like, it's just, it's getting to. It's getting
Eternals
to
made me believe in it, though. Did it not make you believe in that their ability to do that? Like the way they did the Celestials,
yeah,
I was shook.
Yeah,
the scale, the everything about it, I really enjoyed, and it made me, because that was one thing I've always been kind of hesitant in. Like, how are they going to pull off Galactus and make it not cheesy or not feel like the old school Godzilla type movies or whatever?
Yeah,
where it's just like it doesn't look good. But then seeing the Celestials in this movie, like, okay, I believe.
They definitely pulled it off in a big way, and you know, once you got the Celestials, like, yeah, Galactus is like a big step. Galactus, you know, is somebody who kind of doesn't like the Celestials and kind of fears them a little bit, and doesn't like when there's new ones going on, and it could definitely be the next one up. But I still think there's a lot of room for them to deal with other bad guys other than Galactus. I think we got to get the Fantastic Four in before you do Galactus. So like, I just don't think this next couple of phases is a Galactus phase. I totally see, though, like Doctor Doom coming in and being a big character that they could tackle all together. Especially, you know, we got Kang, who might be the next big bad, or he might just be kind of like a middle ground next big bad, where it's like a couple people are focused on him. But like, I feel like they got to wait on Galactus. I feel like we're not there yet.
How long?
And I don't think we're going to be there in the next 5 years either.
Well, what I think is really interesting about that, sorry, Fento. What I think is really interesting about that is that they're not necessarily shoving any villains in our faces at the moment. They're not. They're not really telling us anything. They're not giving us any speculation as to like who's the big bad.
Kang.
You know, they showed the Celestials. Well, we have Kang, but then now he's like in the back. Like we haven't heard anything about Kang in such a long time. We haven't even heard references of Kang in like any of the videos that we usually watch, like from New Rockstars or Den of Nerds or anything. Like, it's been put in the back seat so that we can push these other characters forward and then hit you with something strong. So hopefully it's not Kang, and hopefully it's something else like Doom, or even if they mention Galactus, that would be okay. But I would prefer like other villains that need to like come into the spotlight right now before they push someone big.
Well, like we know for a fact, Kang's movie is Ant-Man 3, so and that movie is 2023. Am I right? So yeah, I think Kang is the next big bad, because you don't have. I don't think you have Doom without the Fantastic Four. That's not till 2024. So it's like there's definitely stuff that's going to happen before. Like, I think you're right. I think we do start getting little tiny references and stuff like that. But as we keep kind of tuning back on, and we keep saying that like all this content that we're seeing is like 2 years too late, and we're still kind of living in the shadows of Endgame. So anything that we've seen now is not going to reference the future. So I'm very curious at like Spider-Man, and very curious at like Doctor Strange, like do we start seeing? That's where I think we're going to start getting the Kang references in the, and he'll like be looming in the background. He's the kind of big bad that's like in the shadows, and I really think that like Loki's going to obviously appear in Doctor Strange 2, and I think his role in that film will be to come kind of like Hulk in Infinity War. It's like Thanos is coming, that it's going to be Loki, like Kang is coming, like so yeah, I don't know. I don't know who we get. Like, I think we're gonna get a little bit of street level stuff, probably like Fisk and I don't know, Wanda, and you know what I mean. Like, I think Wanda's gonna be a very, very big villain that's gonna hang around for like a movie or two, I'd say, until she, kind of reverts back to turning good. But I think Kang's the next big one.
Do you consider Ultron to be a big bad, or are we talking about like Thanos level as the big bad?
See, in the comics though, Ultron was a much bigger bad that returned multiple times in that, and they really just kind of sidelined him. They like downgraded his status. In the MCU, I'd say no. In the comics, yeah, but in the MCU, no. They made him just like a one-shot movie villain that was defeated, and he's not gonna. They didn't even like make it seem like they were gonna set it up. Kind of like even in the What If, which I never thought about, they could have made it seem like his programming was still somewhere, and they could have him come back that way, but they didn't allude to any of that. So I feel like they're not trying to keep him around as that big bad that he was.
I mean, on the plus side, he's still alive. They Vision let him go at the end of Age of Ultron.
Mm-hmm.
So it's possible that he's just biding his time.
Him and White Vision are hanging out, bro.
I guess what I'm getting at is like Kang to me feels like an Ultron type of character, where it's like he is a meetup character, like he's an Avenger level, threat, but is he like the culmination of 3 phases? Is he that bad? I don't think he is.
I think just the story, I get what you're saying, but I think because of his place in the story and the way it's revolving around time, and he's kind of like this omnipotent character, I think that kind of upgrades him itself, even though like I get what you're saying, but I think just the like putting that intellect and that the fact that he knows everything forces him to be bigger than he should be.
Yes, he knows it all.
Like, he should be. We can defeat him. Technically, he's not like in a fight. He's not going to go down. He's not going to be as hard to defeat as somebody like a Thanos or, a Doctor Doom or anything like that. But because of his knowledge and where he fits in this story, it's going to make him that much harder. So I think I'd like to see him be bigger, because I don't know. I'm one of those people that likes that kind of cerebral side of stuff. So I think I'd enjoy that, to see him get used a lot.
I think he's going to be bigger than Ultron, but like movie Ultron, but maybe not as big as Thanos. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
They might relegate a lot of his stuff to the Disney Plus, because we know we're going to obviously see him in season 2 Loki. So he might be bigger than Ultron, because he's going to have that Disney Plus stuff carrying him on the side, but he might not be seeing 4 or 5. We might only see him in one more movie where it's the culmination of what we've seen outside of him, and then they're just going to go take him down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead.
I was going to say, like, how much do you think would you bet on it just being a movie and then just him being tied to the Loki series?
I think kind of opposite of that. I think he's just gonna be tied to the Loki series maybe for a bit, and then just get one.
Gotcha.
I think he has to make an appearance in Multiverse of Madness. Like
You
just
think
I
with,
think he has to make an appearance in
Yeah.
Ant-Man too.
well, we know that for sure. That's his movie, but I think he comes
Yeah.
in before that. I think because we know for a fact Loki's in Doctor Strange 2, so I think that Kang will be in that movie. I think he's going to be referenced. I think he's going to be in that movie. I'm pretty sure I read that Jonathan Majors signed like multiple movie deals and multiple like appearances.
Random sidetrack question that I need to get off my head because I've been thinking about it for a while. In the comics, does Fury have some sort of powers or abilities?
Mhm.
Okay, I thought that I've been picking up on that, and I'm like, he in the show he has like.
They're
Or
not
in
like
the
crazy powers, but like he has like he has a little bit stronger.
I think I saw somewhere that he was like almost like one of the first series of super soldiers. Like not the perfected serum or anything, but he had. I think I had read in something. I don't know.
He has like increased longevity and just durability and strength.
Yeah.
How
And like they kind of hinted at it in what was the movie where he
Captain
was it
Marvel?
Thor? Or what? No, it was one of the early movies when he was in the helicopter. It may have been the first Avengers movie when like the helicopter goes down and he jumps out of it and blows out of it. Right? Like
I laughed at that
Yeah.
scene so much, dude.
I remember like during that time people were like, are they giving him comic book power or like he has a little bit of enhance or like he's a little bit more
Yeah.
than just a
Yeah.
person.
Yeah, I laughed at that scene, dude, because like I've seen this. If you actually think about it, like there's a couple of pretty cheesy scenes with Fury. I love the scene in that it's the same movie. It's the first Avengers movie. Where he tries to shoot down the jet with a fucking pistol. I'm like, what are you doing?
I love people like that. Hoffman's exactly that person. I've seen him play enough games where like there's a jet flying by, he takes that one pistol shot. I'm like,
Yeah.
you never know.
Yeah,
You never know, bro.
Yeah, true. Yeah, he could hit the pilot in the face or something. You never know. But I always laugh at that sort of shit, dude.
Real quick, how about Fury and Disney Plus?
I was about to say, that
Yeah.
was.
It's great.
He looked grizzled and like it's like that dude's been to war, like you could just tell by looking at him. It's like he's seen some fucking shit in space. Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, that was really cool. Really cool. I'm sad we don't have like a little more of that. Like anything, like even like it was like one fucking frame of it. Like give us a bit more. Like I know I don't think they are shooting it at the moment, right? I think they
I
are.
don't know.
I'm pretty sure they are.
I wish that was Mace Windu. Not.
Oh,
I wish that's how his Mace Windu looked. Bro.
That's what Mace Windu would look like if he came back. I think that's a pretty solid representation.
Yeah.
Also, I was reading an interview with Kit Harington, and he was saying that he would love to somehow within the MCU get back together with Daenerys because she's in Secret Invasion. So he's like, I don't know how it happens, but he's like, I'd love to get back on screen with her, like, because obviously they have such a history together and stuff like that. I was like, oh my god, could you imagine? It's like we get the Stark brothers in Eternals, and then it's like we get the two of them.
If I was in the MCU in any way, I'd be talking to every reporter, being like, "Oh yeah, I would love to see me working with like Captain Marvel. If they want to, if they want to bring Robert Downey Jr. back and like pair me with him in a movie, I'd be down for that too." Like,
yeah.
I'd be putting all those ideas out there. Like, give me the movies, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like, do we have anything else from the Disney stuff? What if season
believe
2?
so.
I'm kind of like, yeah, whatever.
Eh.
Kind of see it when it comes out, whatever.
Marvel Zombies. I wonder if they're gonna do it looking like What If, or if they're gonna do another art style, or if they're gonna do it like live action or something. I'm curious about that.
There was a tiny little clip of it. When they announced the name of it, it kind of shot to like a face of a zombie, and it looked very What If, like same kind of style. So
Man, I
Technically-
started watching.
It must have been the teaser clip that they did for What If.
maybe it didn't look familiar to me, the tiny clip that was there, like, so I don't know. Also, I can't believe we haven't talked about this yet. So the X-Men series apparently is going to be like a sequel, like a continuation of the original X-Men series.
That's okay.
Same art style,
Yeah.
same everything, just continuing on Disney Plus. Hell yeah.
I'm there.
Yeah.
That's actually crazy. Yeah, I was wondering what they were meaning by it because it's already on there. I was like, okay, like this is just more like, hey, we're not going to take it down. We're just going to leave it up there. You guys thank us in this trailer.
Yeah,
It's like, what is this?
Apparently, yeah, that's why they're calling it 97, because I think the show ended in 96, and it's gonna just be a continuation of the original show. Like, could you imagine they did like another series of like the 90s fucking Spider-Man cartoon or something. Oh my god, I would lose my shit, bro. That'd be so fucking good.
Bring back the Iron Man.
Yeah.
Dude.
Well, now I want to know what happened at the series finale before it.
Yeah, eventually
That's all up on Disney Plus. I haven't seen a lot of that. I don't think ever, to be honest, because I was so obsessed with the Spider-Man cartoon, and I did watch a bit of X-Men, but I didn't follow it as deeply. Like, I liked the X-Men when they came into the Spider-Man stuff, but I wasn't watching it as deeply as I was watching Spider-Man. So I think, you know, before that gets released, I'll definitely do a kind of a watch, like a, not a rewatch, but like a first time watch for a lot of it, just to be up to speed for the new episodes. 100%.
Yeah, it would be like a first time watch for me too, because like I watched it when I was a kid. And I think I remember it, right? But like I don't know the storylines or really anything like that.
Yeah, absolutely. What else was I gonna say? Oh, actually, sorry. Just while Kyle is gone, there was a question directed towards yourself in the chat room. I don't know if you saw it.
Did not.
But it was Max just asking, "What did you think of the Guardians game?" So I don't know if you want to kind of sing some praise.
Yeah, game of the year for me, definitely. I like the game more than I like the movies. To be honest with you, I think they do a better job at capturing the Guardians universe and how weird it can get, and going around to so many different planets. And I thought it was just some brilliant game making and using the strengths of a video game as a medium to really tell a story in a way that you just can't get anywhere else. The music was great. The voice acting was fantastic. The gameplay was really tight. It's game of the year for me, definitely. And it's like one of my favorite games I've ever played. I adore that game. I legitimately adore that game, and it makes me hate Marvel's Avengers even more. Like, I'm like, how?
How could the same studio make two completely different games?
Yeah. Well, different, same publisher, different studios.
Yeah.
Crystal Dynamics did the Avengers, right? And this is
Square Enix.
I forget him now. No, it's like the developer. Like Square published both of them.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Sorry, that's what I'm confused.
And so it's just like the people who did this one, they get it, man. They get it.
Yeah.
This is Spider-Man level. Like, and I liked it more than Spider-Man, but it's like Spider-Man level.
Yeah.
And it makes me excited for Marvel games again. Like before that was like Marvel needs to strip Square Enix of their Marvel license because it's embarrassing. Now I'm like, no.
Give it back. Yeah, like I love the game. I was fully immersed in it. I had forgotten stuff like, the way I don't really know much about Adam Warlock, for example, in the comics and stuff, but I have definitely seen pictures of him like wielding the gauntlet and stuff, so I know he did have the stones at some point. But it's like when that game popped up and like, you see him he had the Mind Stone, and I'm just like, oh my god, I was like, this is incredible. Like, I'm just like, this is fucking insane. And like, there was just so many moments in the game where it was just like, I genuinely felt like I was sitting there watching a film. Like, I was just so immersed in it. The gameplay was so much fun, and yeah, I could. It's definitely a game where, a lot of the time where you see like Game Plus pop up, I'm kind of like, nah, I won't bother. But that is one that you could sit and do a Game Plus on it easily. Yeah. I'd love.
They actually made Drax a character. Like, he's not just a fucking punchline.
Yeah.
Like, he's an actual character in that game. And I'm just like, why they need to go deeper. Like, I think Guardians 3 probably will, but like, God, they did everything so well in that game, man. Like, every character is just done way better. Like, way better.
It's fucking too little too late though, right? Because this next Guardians movie is Drax's last one. So too little too late.
Seeing that game, having played, being from the outside, I can really agree with your guys' take on, like, it hurts to know that the Marvel game was that bad when you can see what they are capable of. Like, imagine what you guys got out of that Guardians game, but a game as a service Marvel game that was going to keep going as this phase kept going, and you were enjoying them both just as much.
Yeah.
It's just, it sucks.
That event
missed the opportunity.
That Avengers game, if they even charged $2 for those DLCs, I wouldn't pay a fucking cent. You know what I mean? The only thing that kept me playing those games, 99 cents, bro, I wouldn't even spend it. Honestly, like, those games, the only reason why I still have it installed on my computer is in case another DLC comes along and it might be fun, but like, the game runs like a fucking piece of shit. It's been out for 2 years, and like, I've got a pretty fucking solid rig and I can't get the game to run at all. It's ridiculous. Like I honestly, you know, I went back because I think we were speaking about this a couple of weeks ago, and I mentioned the Hawkeye DLC, which was fun. It was great fun to play, the Kate Bishop one. And I went back because I have it up on YouTube. Like, and if you get a chance, just take a scan through it. Like, honestly, it's like I've never seen a game skip frames so much and everything. Like, I had to put it up because it was a crazy stream, but the game was just horrendous. Like, I'd say if the developers got a look at that upload, they would be disgusted with themselves because it's not watchable. Like, it's horrendous.
Yeah, and like not only just is the performance bad in Marvel, it's like the story is so generic and basic, and you're just fighting robots, and then you go play Marvel Guardians, and like you're fighting Fin Fan Foom, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's fun, like it's big. These are interesting villains, and like all the different characters you're just beating up, like they're interesting and they have abilities that like it just there's so much variety in this one little 30-hour experience.
Yeah.
But then they want you to play Marvel's Avengers for like 150 hours, and you're fighting robots.
Imagine Marvel's Avengers where the solo play experience plays like the Guardians game where you have team abilities that you can kind of combo, but then as you invite people in, you can combo with your friends that same way.
That would be nuts. I had high hopes for, and I know me and you played it, Hoffman, the Black Panther one, and it was like, you know, you see the trailers for it in the world, like Wakanda looked amazing. And Panther looked like it was a really different playstyle and everything. But it's like, you know, you watch the cinematics are great. It's good fun. And then the second you load into the game, it's the same bullshit with just a different skin over it. Like, you know, you're just fighting robots. It's the exact same layout. Like, it's like they're just, like, layering on top of the original maps with just a different, like a different, like, scene over it or something, or, like, a different skin on top of it. Like, it's just... It's so lazy, bro. Like, and the game has real promise. Like that new, I don't know if you guys watched that new Spider-Man trailer. They basically put up Alex, I don't know if you want to pull it up because I think I'd love to see your guys' reaction to this, because it's a pretty cool idea that they have, but I'm like, I haven't seen any gameplay, so it's like I don't know how you play as Spider-Man. Anyone on PC won't even get a chance to play it. It's not even like a DLC. It's just like some sort of like an announcement event or something. But yeah, throw it up there, Alex, if you don't mind. I want to see what the guys think of this.
Give me 1 second.
And what they should have been doing this whole time is like, I don't know how hard this is to do, but they had like 3 years of development time before this went. And they should have set it up this way. Every month there should have been a new part of that story coming out for the Avengers. So it almost felt like a comic book where every month you get like a new issue, and you're playing through the story. Where it's like it took them a year to put out the Wakanda stuff. Yeah. And like, you know, they put out the Kate Bishop stuff like 4 months after launch. 3 months after that, they released Hawkeye, and then like 4 months after that, they released Wakanda. Like, it takes forever to get new story in that game, man. And it's just,
yeah, I agree.
Terrible.
And I don't understand it myself. Like, you know, and even with this Spider-Man thing, I can't remember. I think I was talking to Gabe about it. It's like what they should have done. What they should have done was they should have released the game as like a DLC, for example, right? But what they should have done was, for people like us who play it on PC, you should be available to like download and play the storyline, but you can't play as Spider-Man. He's just there as like an AI, you know, and then it lets everybody play it. There's a storyline and everything, but now it's just like, oh yeah, if you bought this on PC, go fuck yourself. Like, or if you're playing it on Xbox Game Pass, it's like, yeah, see you later, bud. If you have it on PS5, you can enjoy playing as Spider-Man, but everyone else go fuck yourselves. Like, so now it's like two different games now. It's two different games now. You know what I mean? I'm not, as I said, I wouldn't even spend $1 on the game. So there's no way I'm buying it on PS5. I love Spider-Man to pieces, but I will never pay another cent towards that game. It is horrendous.
I'm ready when you are.
If there's another free DLC, I will play it, of course. But
so this is Marvel's Avengers Spider-Man exclusive reveal trailer that Bento will not pay 99 cents for. Maybe if it's buy one get one free, 99 cents.
Nope.
Maybe if he's getting two for that. Nope.
Nope.
All right.
Nope.
What if you get a coupon that makes it like just pay shipping? Oh.
Nope.
Alrighty, we're going.
Yeah, let's go.
Please help us. Got us alive.
I would not put my name on that.
Let's see. Dozen of them, one of me. Just another day being Spider-Man. Nice try.
How do you make a video game look like bad choreography? CW choreography in a video game, dude.
The web is
It's
awful.
the same enemies.
Struck his fist. He's like, I've already killed all of them.
They don't die, man. They just come back.
They're still fighting AIM.
I like that dodge. That was cool.
Avengers, assemble. Bad guy, scatter.
Here's the thing, I think that the game is just missing soul.
Come on, let's go. This way.
Kamala, put her there.
I feel nothing when I see any of this.
Do you know what annoys me the most is that it's not the Insomniac Spider-Man even. So it's like, you know, it's just a different Spider-Man.
Hoffman even said himself, and I don't know if you can double this or not, Finto. He actually got choked up like at a couple points during Guardians and was like, there's so much soul in that game, so much emotion, so much feel that you feel so connected to it that he had those moments. And I've also watched y'all play Marvels. You just don't feel anything when you're playing that game. It just feels
It's empty. It's empty dialogue. It's empty events. There was a couple in the very first campaign, like the original game. There was a couple of bits that I really enjoyed in it. Like I loved playing as the Hulk for the first time. I was like, oh my god, like, you know, when you're smashing up stuff at the bridge and all, I was like, this is cool. Like I think my original like video that I put up, like my original like reactions were quite positive to it. And I liked meeting Banner for the first time as Kamala, and like that scene where you have to rescue Cap from space and stuff. I thought that was like pretty cool. But anything after that has just been so lazy. It's been so repetitive. It's just different characters telling the exact same story with the exact same backdrop. It's just, yeah, it's so lazy, bro. And like, you know, for them to take so long to put this stuff out and there's no like differentiation between any of it, it's just the same regurgitated bullshit every time. It's just, it's mind blowing to me.
Yeah.
And then they released a Spider-Man, like all the promo pictures, and I think these have been official promo pictures. But any promo that I ever saw for the Spider-Man thing was all about, like, I thought it was a crossover with Insomniac. I thought it was the Insomniac Spider-Man, because anything, if you Google Spider-Man in the Avengers game, it's all the Peter suit from that first game. So I'm like, this is a completely different Peter Parker, completely different Spider-Man. Like, I'm like, this holds no value at all.
Insomniac knew better.
Yeah, Insomniac.
No.
Yeah, they're just no.
Yeah, it's
We don't
like
want any
there are cool moments in it, like going to space. Like it kind of feels cool, but the characters are so flat and lifeless that like when you're there, it's like, what's the point, man? Like, you know, do you really feel amazing when you're rescuing Captain America? Like, do you feel a relief that you got Captain? And I think the answer is no.
Got Cap back, yeah. Like you need that moment.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know what it is. Like some people can write it, some people can't. But they've dropped the ball, and like we're watching that. Like one, it's like you said, like FPC players. Like if you bought this on Xbox, screw you. So you got two of these people, like Xbox and PC players, who if you're going 6 months without like new content for you because you don't have that. That's a wildly irresponsible and bad decision.
So you do a
them.
Sony exclusive deal or something?
Yeah, you have to be on PlayStation to play it.
Yeah.
They this whole console exclusive stuff where like Destiny is the first game I can think of where they're like, oh yeah, and there's gonna be a new dungeon, but and a new gun only for PlayStation. Like, that stuff's got to stop.
What happens in the future if there's a DLC for, I don't know, some new character that they bring in? Do PlayStation have a separate game where Spider-Man will be involved in the missions, and then PC have a different one? Like, have they just honestly put a clear divide in their game?
It's
crazy.
Sony's the only company that gets these deals like this. It's nutty. They are so powerful that like it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean they were in the right place in the right time for the Spider-Man contract.
Yeah,
and they got that thing locked down for life, bro. Like
they're never letting that go. Death grip, dude.
I read an article there yesterday that said that Spider-Man is by a long shot the most profitable superhero in the world, like with regards to merch
Really?
and
Yeah.
movies, everything, like
Of
revenue.
course.
It's
For sure.
all Spider-Man. So that's it. Like, you know, Spider-Man holds the power. You know, if that's where all, you know, Sony can turn around and say, you know, yeah, we're gonna give it to PS5 because it's our company anyway. You know what I mean? So it's like, and everybody else go fuck yourselves. We don't need your money, like, you know. So it's they hold all the cards when it comes to Spider-Man, and Spider-Man's the most profitable
It comes
superhero
it
ever.
comes down to Spider-Man being the most believable that anybody thinks that could have been me. Just a kid from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Look what happened. That could have been me.
That's why I love Spider-Man. You know, he relates to any like kind of teenage boys. It's like, fuck, that could be me. Like, you know, messes up all the time, and you know he needs help a lot, and that kind of just humanizes him. Like, you know, it's not like where it's Superman and only Kryptonite can kill him and nothing else, and it's just so boring. You know, it's
No,
like,
but then everything's kryptonite. Oh, we got kryptonite dust, and we got
Yeah.
kryptonite bullets, and we got kryptonite deodorant. Oh, I switched to your deodorant. Kryptonite. Gotcha. Superman.
I used to always laugh at the Smallville show, like, because it's like, you know, he'll be underground or something, or in a cave, and it's like, you know, just at the right time he gets thrown against the wall, and it's like, oh no, there's kryptonite in the wall. Like, it's like, just stop.
The one pebble of kryptonite. Stop it.
Yeah, that was so stupid.
What happened to his inability to see through lead? Is he
that's
still
a thing.
unable to do
That's
that?
still
or-
a thing.
That was still a
that
thing,
is
at
still a
least
thing.
in the Snyderverse.
Yeah, it is. It's still a thing,
I
and even
remember
in
them
the
mentioning something covered by lead.
Superman show, Superman and Lois, which is actually a very good show. That's the same thing. Like, one of his villains makes a suit out of lead, so he can't kind of see through it or whatever, and find out who is his identity or whatever. So I thought,
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, like, or at least the helmet is anyway, so he can't see through it to see the
The
villain's
guy's name is
identity.
Face Dragger. The helmet's too heavy. He just walks around dragging it. Yeah, but you'll never know who I am.
Yeah, his neck is Formos take.
He just goes bad from all the poisoning he gets from wearing the helmet.
I ate paint chips as a kid.
I think you touched on this earlier on your stream, Drunky, but what do you think
Oh,
of
that's one. Ooh.
what do you think of the Agatha Harkness show?
I'm like, I really have to see a trailer for that because I just don't see why she needs a show.
Yeah.
I loved her in the show, right? But just I don't think because you love something or because someone plays a good character that they deserve a whole show built around them.
Yeah.
You know, someone who's more well versed in comics and like Agatha Harkness's, you know, surroundings in the comics
Yeah.
probably knows better. But like, who's there for her show? Like in Wanda,
Yeah.
we had to pull Vision in to fucking be in her show. Who's Agatha's like second?
I
you
feel
know-
like Agatha should have got like a 3-series special within WandaVision or something to.
the show.
She needs like a mini series, a whole show, unless they're just gonna make it like super sitcom-y and not try to like have any kind of canonized stuff into it, and it's just supposed to be there for gaffes.
Yeah.
That kind of makes sense because she kind of fits that role as an actress too. But
Mhm.
My guess.
this is trying to like move the indie stories forward. I just don't see it holding up on its.
The show is called House of Harkness, and my guess is that this entire show it will be a prequel to WandaVision, and I think the show will end with her showing up at Westview to
That makes sense.
confront her. And I think, you know, because she does have a lot of history, she's been around for like 400 years, and I think what'll happen is the show will probably start at the Salem witch
Salem
trials,
witch trials,
and then
yeah.
just move forward from that through time, and maybe, you know, how she got
That
to where
makes
she
sense.
was. That's yeah, maybe you know,
The literal opening scene will be something that we've already seen
Yeah.
in WandaVision when she was in that little circle, and then
Yeah.
they'll have a title screen, and then we'll get into her life from, you know, the 1700s
yeah,
until now. Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the only way it works. If they're trying to do anything current,
So she's trapped.
it
She's
doesn't make
trapped
sense.
right now in Westview. You know, she's a prisoner. Like, you know what? Like, you know, and I can't imagine Wanda's gonna come back and free her and all this sort of stuff. Like, I'd say that happens way later because I know she's again to be in Doctor Strange 2. So, and I presume
You know
this,
what'll be
this show will
cool?
take place after Doctor Strange 2, of course. Like, you know, so
if whoever this evil Strange is, or whatever, you know, we think this Doctor Strange in Spider-Man's not going to be good, right? I'd love to see if maybe like you see her and him like kind of trotting around because it's obviously going to come out after that. That'd be cool to see.
maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
possible.
I just need to know the why. You know, like I feel the same way about this show as I feel about like the Boba Fett show. It's just like, why are we doing this? Like, what's the purpose? Like, what's the hook for me to watch this on this story? And I don't think we've seen that for Boba Fett yet. I think they released a trailer, and I still don't know why I should be watching that show. And so I just need to see that from this Agatha Harkness show, because it just feels so. It just feels like filler for the sake of filler. This is a couple of podcasts ago, I think I was talking about the idea that, you know, Marvel used to like go into their comic book collection and their gallery of people and be like, you know, oh, dude, we gotta do a Captain America movie. We have to do a Captain America movie. He's that good of a character. Where now it's, oh, we need someone to fill the yeah. We need someone to put in here. Let's get Agatha Harkness. We can make a story up for that. We'll be able to do it. You know, it's like what's the story what's the compelling story to tell versus what's the story we're just doing because you know, Bob Chapek at Disney is telling us to fill 8 shows a year.
We have a 6-week gap we need to fill up in the year.
Right.
Just to bounce back something I didn't get a chance to hear. What did Hoffman, Alex, what did you guys think about? I'm sure Finto told you that at the end of Eternals it was supposed to be possibly Chris Evans doing the Captain America voiceover. Didn't you say it was supposed to be Captain America, that one voiceover at the end of Eternals, Finto? And the Shield showed up in the movie.
I didn't say that to you, but I did hear that as well. Yeah, there was a potential.
I thought you were the one that told me that.
They put his shield, the original shield, is like 1940 shield, was on the jet. It was on Kingo's jet. So
maybe I heard you say it on your stream or something. I thought you told me it like specifically, but yeah.
No, I don't remember. I don't think it wasn't me who mentioned Chris Evans's voice at the end. But I think there was meant to be some sort of a Captain America reference or cameo just due to the fact that they actually had the original shield in the movie.
Yeah, I could have just watched a YouTube video and gave you credit. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it wasn't me.
I feel like that's a stretch. I mean, we saw Captain America shield in Tony Stark's collection. Yeah, you know, and Captain America wasn't supposed to be in that movie. I just think it's supposed to show how much Kingo loves Captain America and like that hero persona, and why he had Captain America's shield in his Bollywood production.
Please tell me that you guys loved his assistant. Can't remember his name, but I fucking love him.
Like Kiri or something like that.
He was cool. I was scared when I first saw the character appear because I'm like, oh no, are they just doing this storyline again where it's like the assistant that just hangs around for the whole thing? It's kind of like a structure that they do nearly at this stage. Where it's like someone that shouldn't be there is there. It's like Shang-Chi with them. What's her name? Awkwafina. Yeah, it's like, why were you there for the entire film? Like, you know,
like the connection to the human, like the human person that's there. The audience is in that character. Yeah. And I actually, as much as I like that character for his assistant, I wish that role almost would have been filled by Dane Whitman and Kit Harington as Black Knight. I wish he would have been the one going along for the ride with the Eternals. And then bowing out at some point, and so we could have gotten more him instead of the assistant, you know?
Yeah.
But I feel like Dane Whitman is he's actually a Marvel character and not just a human. You know, he is a human, but he has, you know, this past that he needs to work out, and he's got to deal with his demons from the past, especially with his uncle. And so if you put that in there, you kind of take away that whole side story that he's going to have to eventually deal with, and just kind of, you know, going on an adventure where this human who's going with Kingo, who basically like worships the guy, realizes that the planet's going to be like destroyed out of nowhere. And it's at a point where it's hopeless, but he feels, you know, happy to have at least been on the adventure with them. So like, I feel like that character is more like us. You know, wouldn't it have been cool for us to like go on an adventure with the Eternals? And although it would have been very dangerous, we got to see everything that was going on. We learned about the universe, and then we're about to die.
Well,
it's
see
horrible.
Your point, and I see where you're coming from. I do kind of agree with you, but I would throw out there Bucky Barnes, who in Captain America, he gets rescued by Captain, and then after that, he's just a dude. And then at some point he leaves the story, and then he goes on his journey or his adventure or whatever to like be where he needs to be in the modern day story. So I think he could have been like a character like that, where it's like he's along for the ride, he's doing stuff with the Eternals, and then he somehow gets exited out of it. And then he comes back at the end, and it's like, I haven't. I have an interesting past myself. Weird. Like, it's just,
Yeah, I have a
felt
family
so-
secret.
yeah.
I watched and I recommend this to everybody in the chat and everyone. There's shout out to Den of Nerds. He put up a video breaking down this film, and you know he's a dude that kind of went to film school. You know, kind of understands like the process of filmmaking and stuff. And he has a very interesting take on this film and on especially the third act. You know, first two acts, he says the film is up there with potentially the best Marvel content we've ever seen, and then the third act, the whole movie just falls apart. And I think, you know, I'm not going to sit and talk about his video, but just go watch it. It's a great watch, and it made me kind of see the movie a bit differently, and I want to go back and watch it again after what I've kind of seen, because everything he's saying is 100% correct. It's stuff that some of it went over my head when I was watching it for the first time, because I was kind of just engrossed in the story and just going with it, because it was like a very different story. But you know, he explains why he thinks like the critical reviews were so bad, because people who are in the same mindset as him are watching movies, and it's, you know, there's a structure to these things, and when the third act is a piece of shit, it's a bad movie, like, you know, because the third act is so important.
It's a taste that's left in your mouth.
Yeah, and the third act is like, you know, everything builds towards the third act, and when the third act's a mess, the movie just doesn't make any sense. And you know, there is a lot of it in it. Like,
I wonder, like, we heard that like Marvel kind of takes over like a lot of the action scenes for directors and stuff. I wonder if like Marvel had more to do with the Act 3 and like Kevin Feige's team, and where she was more the director, Chloe Zhao, was more in the first two acts, kind of like a Black Widow, where it's like the first two acts were like every act felt like it was a different director, but like the third act was like off the fucking rails in Black Widow.
yeah,
Are you saying you think that maybe the MCU's kind of like they kind of give him like a Mad Lib script where like, these are what you're gonna have in here, and go ahead and fill in the rest?
Yeah, and there's interviews where it's like the director almost didn't take, like, she wanted a job, but she was very nervous about it because she's never done action stuff, right? Like, she's not a action director, she's an indie film person. And Marvel's like, well, don't worry, we do that. Like, we can do that. Like, we take over there, we do the action scenes. And then they do have a lot of ad-libs. I think they do tell the directors, hey, you got to hit this, this, and this. How you get there, you know, it's your script. You know, we'll work with you, but you know, you do have to hit a couple of, you know, plot points for the universe.
Yeah, it's just, you know, and you know, I recommend, I'll throw a link up to this video, but it's definitely worth a listen, because just, you know, a lot of the stuff he says, you're kind of sitting there going, oh my god, you're 100% right. It's like a lot of this just didn't make any sense, and it just doesn't work in a kind of structural thing. And you know, he was very surprised that Marvel actually allowed the movie to be released with the final cut, how it actually sat, because just so much of it just doesn't really add up and doesn't make sense, and there's no real kind of payoff to it or whatever. But yeah, it's a fantastic video.
But honestly, though, the critical reviews are fucking ridiculous, bro. Like, the fact that Carnage has a better Rotten Tomatoes score than Eternals is like outrageous. It's outrageous, and it's like they're grading it on a curve where it's like, oh, we know Carnage is supposed to be shit, so it's going to be a good shit movie. Yeah. And Chloe Zhao's like beautiful work that she had all these great characters, all these great scenes. Because Chloe Zhao, we're going to grade it on a curve, and it's going to come in at a lower score, and that in turn hurts the box office. You know, people have their own narratives they write because of that type of stuff. Yeah. It's just like, I can't stand Rotten Tomatoes, man. Like, it needs to be, I tweeted it, like, it needs to be abolished, and I'm not even joking. Like, Rotten Tomatoes, like, needs to go. Like, Hollywood needs to blacklist them in some way. Like, I don't understand. I don't know how they do it, but they need to get rid of it.
I don't know why it's so much up on a pedestal. Everybody, like, that's the first thing they always want to quote. Well, yeah, there's a score got on Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah. And like, I feel like almost every time I've ever watched a movie, I've never been like, yeah, they were right about that. Like, they're always off by 20% from how I feel.
I think I mentioned this last week, and I don't know if anybody did it, but go onto Google and type in like the worst rated, or like Rotten Tomatoes biggest mistakes or something like that. Like, you'll get like movies that are actual like well-known classics that are like score like 29% on Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's like, how did you get there? Like, you know, it's outrageous. Like, I don't know if you're looking something up there, Alex. You look like you're looking something up. But I'm gonna look at, I have to list out some of these. Give me a second. Yeah, like I don't know, like for me, I've always gone, like, I think IMDb is the Bible for me, because it's reviewed by fans, and I think you get a much better feel for how a movie is. Like, I'll always check an IMDb rating, and I think IMDb is usually very right, like with their ratings. Like, you know, if I see a movie and it's like it's rated 7.5, I'm like, yeah, that's a fair score. Like, you know, this movie I think scores a 7 on IMDb, Eternals, and I'm like, that's a fair score. To be fair, like, you know, it's not a fucking 4 or 5. Like, there's no way in hell it would ever be that bad. But I think 7 is a pretty significant score for it. Like, yeah, I don't know, bro. I don't know.
I don't know. I just don't. I don't think we live in a weird time where people need other people to tell them how they should feel about everything, and Rotten Tomatoes is a big proof of that. Instead of people just getting their own opinion, they're like, "Oh, how should I feel about this before I even see it at all?"
That's one thing I wanted to kind of just address is, you know, when things like Intel or AMD, they're about to have some of their product being, you know, shipped out, and they're on pre-order, and so you have some of these, you know, content creators that basically want to tell you about the product before it's released, but there's an embargo on it. And I feel like in terms of this, like if Rotten Tomatoes is the black sheep of this, they should put an embargo on you know, any sort of like critics ratings or whatnot until it gets either near, like right the day before or the day of release, and then you can give us all the reviews.
Yeah.
Because like just telling us like a week before and then making us have this, you know, almost a self-fulfilling prophecy of like, oh man, it's gonna be crap.
100%.
Like,
it gives you a week to start doubting it the whole time, and it's like you're not in some secret society where, oh, we saw it a week early. Like, no one cares. Just see the movie, give your opinion, and like you said, I think there should be an embargo on it because it doesn't make sense to be like, here's what we think about something, and by the way, you can't make a judgment for yourself right now. You can just sit over our opinion for a week, and then you can tell us. Makes no sense to me.
Yeah. I'm trying to find some good examples of just where they fucked up, but the movie Hannibal 2001 scored a 39 on Rotten Tomatoes. Like,
wow.
That would be a good movie in my eyes. Like
Classic
that
movie.
whole Hannibal series is brilliant. Like,
it became iconic. That first one, like, how many lines? Hello, Clary.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I've never even heard of
such a bad rap for no reason, man. Because it's a solid movie, bro. It's nowhere near the bottom tier of Marvel movies. Like, these people are out of their mind with their critiques, and this is someone who, like, off the, you know, walking out of Black Widow, I was like, what the fuck did I just watch? Walking out, you know, I walk out of this one, and these people are acting like it's worse than Black Widow. Like, Eternals is the strongest movie they've put out since Endgame. Like, it really is. I think it's better than Spider-Man. I think it's better than Black Widow. I think it's better than Shang-Chi. Like, Eternals was a banger of the movie, and maybe got a little loose at the end there, but everything leading up to it, and she did kind of land a little bit. You know, she landed it. You know, probably like the end character, Cersei probably should have had a bigger role throughout the whole movie, so that when she actually, you know, saves the day, like, she's the hero. You know?
Yeah.
But
The original Fantastic Four movie, 27% on Rotten Tomatoes.
that's accurate though.
I don't think it's.
What's the recent one? Does it at least beat the recent one? Is the recent one like 10% or something?
I don't know.
Because if they're saying the original one is worse than the one that they released like a couple years ago, nope.
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't know, man. Rotten Tomato needs. I don't know what you can do to get rid of it, but I just couldn't believe what I was seeing on that nonsense, and then seeing so many people like use it to justify that Eternals was a failure of the movie.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you are.
Yeah.
No idea what you're talking about.
It really does. It really does annoy me because it is the first thing that you see. It's like the Rotten Tomato score's out. The score's out for Rotten Tomatoes. It's like, I don't care. I don't care what the score is. Like, it just genuinely doesn't matter to me. Yeah, it's crazy.
And like, it annoys me because like as movie watchers, we shouldn't be concerned with that at all, right? Like, you should go in, you watch it yourself. But then like it tanks it, so then people don't go out and watch it. They're like, I'll wait till it gets home. If it's gonna be a bad movie, I'm not gonna go see the box office. And then again, that impacts like what if Eternals gets a sequel or not. You know, like, but it totally deserves a sequel. Like, it totally does. So good.
One of the most common things I hear, and I probably heard it about 5 or 6 times about Eternals, was, you know, people always ask me, like, have you seen the movie? Like, is it good? Like, you know, a lot of my IRL friends will always be like, what did you think of the movie? Like, is it good? Should I go see it? And I honestly got about 6 text messages from different people just going, "Did you see Eternals?" I was like, "Yeah, I went to see it." It's like heard mixed reviews. It's like, you know, that's what everyone says. It's like, you know, everyone's just skewed because it's like, should I go see it or not? Like, I'm hearing mixed reviews, and it's like, fucking make up your own mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But
The
that
problem is people
doesn't-
want everyone else to do thinking for them.
There's a lot of people who, you know, they won't justify the spend of money to go to the theater if they don't know that it's 100% going to be a banger. Like, you know,
Yeah.
for me, yeah, it kind of sucks when you pay a lot of money to go to the cinema and the movie's not great. But for me,
It's still a trip out.
yeah.
Still-
For me, it's a date
still has a good
night.
night.
It's a date night. You know, it's time with my lady, and we get nice food and all. So it's not just about the movie, I
wouldn't say
suppose.
nice food.
Oh no, bro, my cinema is incredible.
Bro,
Like,
they
if you guys
use-
are ever over here, I will take you to this theater that I always talk about because the food's incredible. It's the cinema experience is just mind blowing. Every seat is like a reclining leather couch. It's unbelievable.
Mine used to be like that, and then after 2020, they made it to where if you want to do like matinees, all the good food and stuff doesn't start getting made until like nighttime. They don't do any of the good stuff anymore, like the chili cheese fries, like all that. You only get popcorn or stuff if you want to do a matinee. And I like
Yeah.
matinees. I like going during the daytime.
When do you think an Eternals 2 would come
Less
out?
shooty.
2026.
26?
I think 24.
I don't know,
We have
man.
so
I think
we have so
2024
much on the line.
I think 2024 would be a pretty good idea for, you know, if they're gonna do one. 2026 feels so far away that's like, will people forget about it? Because like, how do you fit the Eternals into other movies in between it? You know, it's
Whenever
kinda-
the one thing that I've been doing too is like when we've heard that there's been all these unnamed, unannounced projects. As soon as we saw the end of Eternals, I was like, well, there's one of the unannounced projects because they just couldn't tell you Eternals 2 before Eternals
Right.
came out. So it's
Of
like,
course.
I think it's closer than we think, and it's just gonna fill in one of those unannounced projects type things that they've been working on.
Yeah, I think it's been confirmed that Eternals will appear in What If 2. So I suppose we'll get a taste for what they're like. But like, you know, there's so many unanswered questions after that film. Like, you know, Selma Hayek came out and said that she signed a multi deal with Marvel. So it's like, you're coming back, you know, or they're doing like prequels or
Is that delayed?
something. Yeah.
From the time they wrapped filming, how long did they delay release on Eternals?
2 years.
Yeah, about 2 years. Like, you know, they could actually. I don't
So
think
it could be closer than we think, even.
I don't think they've even filmed it because you would have heard, like, I would have definitely read stuff about production and, you know, leaks from production, all that sort of shit, like, you know, photos from behind the scenes and stuff.
Yeah.
There hasn't been a tap about it, like, you know, you haven't seen any of the actors saying that they're going back to work on it and stuff like that. So to me, I don't think they've shot a frame of it yet.
And
So,
then
you know,
the director of it, like, actually just got pinged to direct Kevin Feige's Star Wars thing. So
how do you feel about that?
Call up your Irish Law Druid.
I'm good. I think she's a great director. You know, I'm down. I'm
Yeah.
down for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very curious to see what Kevin Feige can do outside of Marvel.
Like I think I don't know of another director in the MCU who made me feel more like I was watching a family who already knew each other that quick. Like it was amazing how good of a job she did with the direction to make the characters really feel like that way. And so, you know, in Star Wars, I don't know what Kevin Feige's going to be doing in Star Wars, but if you bring Kevin Feige in, it feels like you want him to do a bigger, more connected, you know, type of deal.
Yeah.
And so if she's like starting like coming on and like, you know, kind of like a Rogue One deal where it's like we're going to put 5 people together and make it feel like a team. Maybe they have history, maybe they don't.
Yeah.
She'd be kind of someone who could fit that very easily.
I think, yeah, you're very right. She definitely nailed that feeling you get when you have like those friends that you haven't seen or talked to in a while, but then you see, you just pick up like where you left off. Like she nailed that feeling, which is hard to do.
Yeah, for sure.
So
go ahead, Alex.
I just wanted to say the only reason why, and like I'm just going back to it real quick. The only reason why I say 2026 is because the time frame that we have for all of the movies and series that we're having right now, it's going to take up so much time that I believe that they need a little bit more time to reach that point where they can do Eternals 2, but as of right now they have so many stories that they need to talk about. And so if you were to, like, let's say an example being Guardians of the Galaxy. So Guardians 1 came out in 2014 of August. Guardians 2 came out in May 5th of 2017. That's about 2.5 years. Guardians 3 is May 23rd, 2023, which also involves a bit of a delay, but that's like nearly 6 years.
Yeah, but
So
yeah, you're not wrong there, but also it's like James Gunn got fired, right? And that shelved it.
Yeah.
yeah,
You
and
know,
it really pushed them back.
Yeah, and then you had Endgame in between there, where like everything got put on hold for Endgame because everyone was in Endgame. So like you got to see the Guardians in Endgame, in a pretty big way. Like they're very involved in Guardian or in
Very much
Endgame
so, yeah.
or Infinity War, and more so.
But
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 like,
I
where do the Eternals fit in other movies? You know what I mean?
Right. But that's the thing is Eternals is a pretty large cast, and although we don't have, you know, that very many, we have actually a good notable amount of cast members in there that we know of that were from different shows. So like to take them and to have them like put their time back into this movie, in addition to the other cast members that we need to pull back, in addition to Harry Styles, you know, even Dane Whitman, like if you have to get, you know, Kit Harington back in, if you want to bring Madden back in for Icarus, if you like, there's so many big names. It's gonna need time. It's almost like its own Avengers, but to a smaller degree.
Okay.
Here's a question I have. So in the movie, Kingo references that he knew Thor as a child, right? It's like,
Yeah.
how, like, does Thor know of the Eternals? And if he does, would he not have gone and like looked for them during the events of Endgame, knowing who potentially Thanos was, the fact that he was an Eternal?
I mean, I think Thor's one of those people that, because of the Nine Realms thing, like I feel like he knows everybody, or he like knows of all the races and the. So I feel like it's just kind of like a know of him, maybe more so than a like they were intimate or he hung out and was like Uncle Kingo or something, like anything like that. I think it might just be more of an acquaintance, know of him. Maybe he had been to, you know, Asgard at some point.
Yeah. I mean, I'm. It's kind of established now that like Thor hasn't been told the full everything, right? And so I think they can get away with that idea where it's like Thor didn't even know that he had a sister, but she knew.
Right.
She had a brother, two of them. So I think there's something there that they could do where it's like the Eternals know about Thor, because they've been around for so long, but Thor might not know about them. You know, they were off world. They seen Thor. He was a baby. He didn't know anything about him other than that. Odin keeps a lot of secrets.
Yeah, fair. My understanding was that they had time together on Earth, because you know,
was it?
But that's, you know, obviously the Eternals' minds are for the 7,000 years that they're on the Earth, right? So, and Thor's 1,500 years old. So I would have presumed that one of Thor's kind of missions as a young boy to go to Midgard would have their paths would have crossed, because Tina's the only one who remembers previous worlds, and Thor's not old enough to be of any other world bar Earth. And
We'll go back to the
Kingo.
DB Cooper scene, and Kingo's just on the plane, like, ah.
Yeah. Maybe Thor met Kingo, but he didn't know he's an Eternal, like this celestial being. Like he just thought he was like this dude in a movie.
I'm like, for stuff like that, I'm really looking forward to going back and watching it again and kind of just like paying a lot more attention, you know, because I think there's a lot of stuff that we have all missed.
That made me laugh. He's like, wait, how have you got away with being a movie star for so many years? Well, that was my great grandfather. That was my mama.
Yeah, facts.
So one of the questions I had was, in addition to seeing the Eternals and now we have the Asgardians, how soon do you think we'll be able to see like the Greek pantheon of characters that are in the MCU? Like, when do you think we'll see Zeus or Hercules or any of the other characters? Because I think there's also like the Celtic gods and some other characters that are in the Marvel comics.
Isn't
that
Zeus
might be referenced in the future?
Isn't Zeus going to be in Love and Thunder?
Yeah.
So very soon. You know, I presume that will open up Hercules, I presume, coming in, because I believe don't Thor and Hercules have a good relationship in the comics, and I think that's something that you could definitely play around with before Chris Hemsworth exits.
I don't know much about them from the comic books or anything. I barely know anything about Hercules outside of him being in Guardians of the Galaxy comic books. So I don't know too much about that. But yeah, like if they're bringing in Zeus this quickly, yeah, and
Can't be far behind.
Yeah. Especially now that we had like characters like Athena, right? Like Athena is there.
Right.
So, like,
Drop the A, buddy.
sorry, buddy. Tina. It's a Tina.
Yeah.
And-
I love
that's-
I love those little things that they did where they're like, oh, Athena, she's
Yeah.
And that's one of the interesting things of watching or reading the Infinity Gauntlet comic was seeing all of basically the All Fathers or Great Fathers of any of like the gods, just sitting at a round table and discussing what they need to do about the turn of events from the Infinity Gauntlet. So you see like, Odin talking to Zeus and a couple other gods, and they're like, what should we do? Like, well, let's band together and we're gonna figure this out together. And they're like, all right, cool. And then I think that would, like, since we're missing Odin, it kind of sucks that we probably will never get to that point. But I think it'd be really cool to at least show off a couple other gods.
I think that's going to be one of Chris Hemsworth's last things that he does. I believe he's going to become the All-Father. And I think, you might get some sort of like a cross in the mythical like characters like that. We're going to see, I think we will see that. Whether it's going to be like Thor and like Hercules, or obviously Zeus is going to be in that movie. So I think we will get that. I think that's definitely something Chris Hemsworth wants to do before he exits.
Because like we are saying that the Egyptian god Khonshu is going to be now available in the MCU from Moon Knight.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is going to be really exciting to also get into God things like this.
Yeah.
This is one thing that I'm really excited about the Marvel Cinematic Universe is for the fact that they're expanding even further. It's like it's getting crazier.
You can nearly understand why there's so many fucking projects coming, because they are expanding so much. Like they have said that they want to go back to a severe like street level superhero range. Then you've got everything that's going on with everything in space, and now you're bringing in like the old gods, and it's crazy. Like I can definitely see why they need like 33 projects in the pipeline.
How do you feel about Eros showing up now after Thanos?
I'm fine with it. Like, would it be interesting? Like, for sure, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah, it was weird that it was him and not Adam at the end to me, because I know Eros and Adam, like, pretty much, or at least from what I've seen when I read through about the Infinity Gauntlet series, is whenever Eros would show up, Adam would also like pop into the same place and be like, hey, what you doing, bro? And they kind of like hanging around. But now to have Eros here, a lot of his motivations revolved around Thanos. So that's just, I don't know. That's going to be interesting to me.
I knew nothing really about Star Fox and stuff before the movie, and I don't like Harry Styles, so I'm like, I need to read up a bit on this character and see if I can understand why they're doing what they're doing or what's going on. And like, from what I understand, Thanos, it has like a deviant gene in him, and he also has eternal blood in him.
Yeah.
So his father or his grandfather was an Eternal, and that's why Star Fox is referring to himself as a fellow Eternal, because they are descendants of Eternals. So, and I think I've seen this as a meme, and it actually does make sense. It's like, when they say, I think it's when Kit Harington's character asks, like, why didn't you step in with Thanos? And they're like, well, we were only told to interfere with anything that was related to the deviants. And it's like well known in the comics anyway. I don't know about the MCU, but it's well known that Thanos is half deviant.
That's why he looks purple. Yeah.
Yeah, he's half deviant. He's half Eternal. His grandfather was an Eternal, so technically, I suppose he is as well. And it's like, why they would have to have been, or well, maybe they weren't aware of it, because it seems like the Celestials are lying about a lot of stuff. So maybe they kept that information from them or something. I'm not too sure, but it just stuff like that. And like, I think the whole introduction of Star Fox has been done now to kind of make you question what exactly was Thanos' role. Was he actually the big bad? Like, was he a villain? Because now it seems like Thanos had prior information of the emergence, and I think his mission with the Infinity Stones was to delay the immersion because he didn't want the universe to be destroyed. So him destroying half of life is him actually...
MCU-wise?
Yeah.
Okay.
Him actually snapping his fingers was him delaying the emergence and actually saving the universe. It's fucking wild, bro, because it just defeats the first like 24 movies, because we're made to think that Thanos is the big bad, but now they're actually kind of retconning it a little bit, where it's like, actually this dude knew about the Celestials, he knew about everything, and he snapped his fingers to try and save the Earth and save the rest of the galaxy. Like,
But I don't think he knew about the emergence, though, did he?
Yeah, he didn't know. I don't think he knew about the
so.
emergence. I don't think
He just
because
wanted
that is
balance.
Christianum's like secret knowledge. You know, that's the Celestial secret knowledge. I think they just did not want to include Death for global marketing reasons, Lady Death, and that's why we're getting a little bit of confusion, because that literally just that ties off any questions like what if that actual part of the story that they left off ties all that off. The weird thing with Eros is like, from what I saw in the Infinity Gauntlet series, Eros was like one of the only people that kind of posed a threat to Thanos, but he was always kind of like Kang. He was sitting out of time and out of the timeline, so that he was like hiding from Thanos all the time, because Thanos wanted him gone, because Thanos knew he was a threat. So he was always kind of like on the run cat and mouse with those two. That's why it's just weird for him to show up now, because what I had always understood is they kind of had like a little cat and mouse going on, and now he's showing up without the mouse is here, but there's no cat.
yeah, the whole Star Fox thing as well, the way he can actually, you know, the little like celestial ball that's given to like the leading Eternal, it seems he has one and he can manipulate it and read it and control it. So it's like he clearly has more information than the Eternals. You know, he knows the secrets. Like, so I'm like thinking, obviously he's Thanos' brother. It's like, what did Thanos know? I really think that as the story develops in further movies and so on, I think we'll in a couple of years' time have a very different view of Thanos.
I mean, it's just,
I like
When
that
I think-
twist though. If they could work that in, I think that's
Yeah.
a big like Inception mind blow moment that they could make, that would make people want to go back and watch all those movies and give them good rewatch value. I think they would get a lot of fans angry if they did.
It's kind of like
Right.
what Loki did with the stones. You know, it's like they're just
Yeah.
paperweights, and it's like, oh no, bro, now it's just like the magic is gone. You know, it's kind of
It's like a disrespect thing almost
Yeah.
if they did that.
it's kind of
It's-
it's a bold move. You know,
it's just weird because, you know, we're told excessively from Thanos himself, like he's only doing this because he knows that resources are finite within the universe, not so much that he wants to make sure that he can stop any like large force. And of course, yes, he might hide that from us, but I think it was just following the same scheme as you know, the Infinity Gauntlet comic, just in a way to be more, I guess, like, you know, villain with a plan that you can kind of understand and agree with, but you don't want to be a part of. And so like it's just it's weird to me that it would be like, oh, he knew about the Celestial situation all along. If that was the case, then I like, wouldn't Titan have been destroyed sooner, or, you know, or would the Eternals have shown up on Titan as well? Like, we don't know like how that works in terms of like the MCU. We just know that the Eternals go from planet to planet, and apparently Titan wasn't chosen, as
wasn't
far as we know.
well, his grandfather was an Eternal from Titan, so
Right.
obviously his grandfather had a mission on Titan. Got to a certain point that he was able to, or got to a certain power that he was able to make himself mortal or whatever,
Yeah.
but retain power and, you know, have children and so on. But yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting
hard to-
story because it opens a lot of doors, I think, and just makes me question what we watched originally, you know.
It is, but it's also hard to gauge because we can't at this point now, and at any point from here on until we get some answers, we can't trust the Eternals, we can't trust the Celestials.
Yeah,
Even when Star Fox came in, I'm like, I don't know what the hell's going on here.
yeah.
The only thing I would say that they're gonna do is they're gonna make Guardians 3 have Arrows show up with Pip, and then Pip sees Adam Warlock and then decides to go hang out with him as he does in the comics.
Yeah.
So
Alex
It's
is
just-
so happy about Pip.
Oh, Pip's awesome. He's
I'm
ridiculous.
so happy about Pip. First thing I said to Alex after I watched a movie, I sent a message and she said Eros in all capitals, and he said Pip back. That's amazing. He's so happy about Pip.
That's hilarious.
With Eros though, like, you know, he's we're gonna, depending on how they want to do this, they might make him a charmer, you know, because he has the ability to make people like basically fall in love with him.
I mean,
Oh,
they
now-
cast him as Harry Styles.
Now it makes sense why they cast Harry Styles. Yeah, fair enough.
He looks just like him too from the comic books. Like he does look like Eros.
I've
Really does.
never seen Harry Styles act in anything. Has he ever acted in anything before? And like, you know, he's going from potentially having like no acting experience to going to like the fucking NFL. Like, you know, like I've tried to Americanize that. What I was gonna say, I was gonna say
Thank
something
you.
different. So I was like, oh yeah, the NFL. So
Hey, let Emily give you your American references. Okay? She's got it.
He was in
I didn't think-
Dunkirk.
oh yeah, he had actually. Do you know what? My God, I completely forgot
I
about
don't
that.
remember him
He
in
was
Dunkirk.
he was actually very good in that movie. I take back what I just said because
Was he on the boat?
he actually is one of the main characters. He's one of the main soldiers that you follow in Dunkirk. Like he is
Look it
actually
up now.
he's actually brilliant in it.
Triple threat, baby.
Yeah, that's actually scary. Speaking of Dunkirk, actually, that just kind of made me think about the Irish actor Barry Keoghan, who played Druig in
I
Eternals.
love that dude.
Yeah, so listen to this. There's rumors going around. I didn't realize this until a friend of mine sent it to me, but he is going to be in the new Batman movie, the Pattinson one. But on IMDb, he's referenced down as like a cop. He's like a sergeant or something like that. So that's what he's referenced down as on IMDb. But apparently, people are saying that he could be that universe's Joker. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, he like he's a great actor in Eternals, right? I haven't seen him in anything else, but if he's able to bring that level of skill to like a Joker persona, then I'm in. But you know, it's hard. I think it's hard to say what he could look like.
Yeah, the Joker's such a hard role, like, you know, and like, you know, I know everybody in the world like slags Jared Leto, like, but you know, Leto's actually a pretty good actor, like, and he just couldn't do that role. So like, you know, it really kind of
But it's made me
tells.
dislike him to the point where like I saw the preview for Morbius and I was like, "Fuck you!"
I
What?
think that looks
I
great.
don't like. Yeah, it looks great, but I don't like Jared Leto.
You're out of
because
line,
how-
Kyle. You're out of line.
Yeah, I love Jared Leto.
I'm excited for the movie. I just wish it wasn't Jared Leto.
Did you see him in the trailer for House of Gucci?
Yeah, that's
Oh,
great. That's
God,
crazy,
that
dude.
was-
That
He
is
looks
crazy.
so
Yeah.
good at that.
Yeah, it does. It doesn't look like him at all. It's kind of like Colin Farrell in Batman. Like, it's like you don't even know it's him. He's like bald and everything.
I thought he was the dad from Arrested Development at first. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I
yeah.
got nothing. Oh. No, he's crazy. But yeah, his take on Joker in there,
My
you know, it's like, is that all his fault or is it the director? Is it
Well,
Zack
I think it's
yeah,
the director.
I think
yeah,
so
honestly.
too. Like, it's how he's directed. It's and according to the director, he actually did a like in the director's cut of the film, he did a much better job. And I think when it went to final cut, they just butchered the whole
But I
kind
mean-
of play of the character. Like, so
The
Yeah.
director didn't make him do the cringe stuff like sending used condoms and dead rats and stuff to his castmates when he was trying to be edgy. Like when he was trying to do that Heath Ledger kind of, it just
Yeah.
didn't. Yeah,
I only read about that the other day, and he was saying because someone was like trying to like cancel him over that or something like that, and he was saying there's actual footage of me giving those presents out, and everyone loved it. So don't even try it. Like, I was like, fair play to you,
really?
Jared Leto. I was like, fair play to you, dude.
I mean, there's been interviews where they make it seem like they were like really creeped out and weirded out by it. So I don't know. At least with like Will Smith and Margot Robbie, I think I've seen.
I'm just surprised Jared Leto's even using condoms. That's a plus.
That
know, he
just
just seems
took
like
him
he's
up a
out there.
notch. Took him up a notch in my mind.
Uh,
Thought he was
no,
a
he's
dirty
practicing
dick
safe
little.
sex.
To be honest, like, I think the Morbius movie looks great, and I think he looks like he's gonna give a fucking stellar performance in that film.
hmm
Yeah. Did you guys watch Spider-Man? Like, I know I have it in the title that we're going to talk about it, but I don't know if there's even a point. I don't know if you guys watched it.
I didn't
been
watch it.
watching this whole
I'll be
time.
100%
forgot,
honest.
bro.
Yeah, I didn't
Like-
forget. I just had stuff.
Yeah.
No, I
that's fair.
talked to my lady. I was like, "Oh, we need to start watching Spider-Man." I said that to her yesterday.
Yeah.
It's one of those movies that I think we've all seen so many times because it's like the original one that we could easily talk about it without.
I could not.
Yeah,
I've seen it like twice.
I think I started rewatching a lot of the Spider-Man movies only a couple of weeks ago, and I didn't even watch all of the first one. I watched most of it. I kind of stepped out of the room a few times, but I could
It's memorable.
I could probably hold a conversation about it, to be honest. But I think, you know, if we all kind of have it fresh in our minds, I think we'll have a better discussion on it. So maybe we can we can hold that one off until.
One thing I will say is I still maintain I think Tom's one is better than Tobey's. I think in the scheme of it, I like Tom's first movie and then Tobey's first movie after.
No, you can't do this to me.
Yeah, for Willem Dafoe alone just makes that movie so good. Dude.
I love what's his name who plays his son. I can't think of the actor's name right now.
James Franco.
Yeah, James Franco. I love James Franco as his son.
Harry.
I think they did exactly what we've always expected the Spider-Man come-up story to be, and the reason why I like Tom's more is because what we got out of Tobey's movie is what we know to be the Spider-Man story and what we kind of expect to get every time we get a Spider-Man movie, and they did it just a little bit different for Tom. That's why I like Tom's. They didn't do anything wrong. They did it absolutely perfectly correct, in my opinion. But it's just that's the one that we come to expect every single time.
Let me ask you.
Blakey just said in the chat that Hoffman got a new lightsaber. Is that true?
I did get a new lightsaber.
Can
And
you
new
please
lightsaber you've been holding out on us?
fucking show us?
Yeah.
Hey! It's not my fault. You guys don't tune in. All right, it's not my fault. Okay.
Hey. Get the lightsaber.
No, you need to just stand there and get it. Come on, show us what you got.
I can't believe
I
it.
want to
I've
see
shown
what
off.
you got.
I've shown off both of my lightsabers on this podcast.
I've sent him so many pictures with my lightsaber in it. He's not-
How dare you?
Yeah, I don't know. I think just for me, it's just with this movie, it's one of the greatest movies of all time. But I think just because maybe it's just like exactly what you said. We've seen it so many times. Maybe I like the Tom one more because it's newer to me.
Yeah.
But I think that movie is just what we've come to expect out of a Spider-Man movie, and I like it.
Before we get off Spider-Man, we got 5 Spider-Man movies to watch, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yep.
so
Movie 3.
Well, yeah, we're not going to watch the
Edward
Tom.
2.
We're not going to watch the Tom ones because we kind of
right,
we were only
like
recently
the
watched
Tobey
them.
Maguire and the
Yeah.
Andrew Garfield.
Yeah.
So if we're not gonna, because I messed up and Kyle didn't watch it, we need to double up one of these weeks.
Spider-Man 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got some bad news as well. I actually won't be around next Friday, so
Okay.
I have a wedding to go to. But I was thinking, if this suits you guys, now I don't mind pushing the podcast a week if we have to, but I was gonna just change my schedule around and actually stream on Saturday. So I don't know if you guys are around on Saturday to do the podcast instead of Friday. Like we can do the same time, but just on Saturday
I'm down.
instead. That's might work better for some people.
Yeah.
What about no? Because we don't want to. I was gonna say we could do all 3 of Tobey's and then do Saturday, but we need to kind of stretch them out so we can make it to the.
I
new
think
Spider-Man
do
movies.
Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 2, and then we'll do like
Yeah.
we'll try and do like a kind of 40-minute segment on just
Spider-Man
those 2
3
films.
needs its own podcast, bro.
Bro,
Spider-Man
I
3.
honestly I can't. I'll watch it again as well. I'm putting it out here now. Get ready to clip
These are
this.
so good.
Get ready to clip it, guys. This is Spider-Man 3 is fucking brilliant. I don't care what anybody
Okay.
says. It's fantastic. Your sides will be hurting from laughing. It's so fucking funny, and I think it's just the internet has turned it into a good movie. It's so bad that it's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, facts.
So we should double up next week then with Spider-Man 1 and 2.
Yeah,
And then if we go on track there, that lines us up exactly for December 17th. No, that's when it's released. Okay, so-
December 17th is the release date. Yeah.
Yeah. So if we see it on Thursday, if it comes out on Thursday, we can watch it. We can do the pod, but we might have to do like the Eternals. How we
Yeah,
push the Eternals to
yeah.
Saturday. We might have to do that.
I don't know what the exact release date of it is here. I
Okay.
actually think it is the 17th.
Yeah.
So I might have to either go see it earlier, or maybe we might have to do a thing like we did with Eternals and just push the start time out a bit.
Yeah.
Again, I don't mind starting at 1 a.m. Like it doesn't bother me. Like so, if it's okay for you guys to go a little later, that's cool with me. So,
Yep.
but I do think it'll be good to do it day 1, like we did with Eternals.
So we got 4 podcasts in between now and the 17th. We have 4 podcasts left.
Okay.
and 5 movies. So if we
Perfect.
double up 1 and 2, they'll line us right up with it.
Yeah. Well, actually, and just to kind of maybe, I think we should maybe double it up because don't forget, we're going to have in 2 weeks' time, we're going to have Hawkeye. Yeah. So we're going to have like an episode of Hawkeye to talk about each week as well.
Okay.
So
Cool.
maybe next week we'll do the 2 movies, and then maybe the week after do Spider-Man 3 and maybe the first Andrew movie or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
then just that week then will be like, what, 1 week or 2 weeks before the new movie. So we'll watch Andrew 2, which is a bit of a rough watch, and then maybe watch I think it could even be worth, and I think I will do this myself anyway, even if we don't. But I think if we have like 3 or 4 weeks, we could do 2 movies each week, and then what we could do is we could put Far From Home in just before we go see the new one, because Far From Home literally takes off. It's like a part 2 of that film. No Way Home is a part 2 of that movie, so I think it would make sense to let that be the last content we talk about before the new movie comes out.
Yeah.
Down.
Yeah.
All right, Drunky. Fuck! That was the first time I did it.
Got him.
Since the name
Aha.
change. Damn it, Hoffman.
Oh my god.
So this is the Disney lightsabers. So it's not like a custom. It's not like a super high quality, like the $200 ones or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So this is the Disney one. I think these ones do cost they're a little pricey, but the one I got,
Yes, bro. I have the exact same one.
we got
That's-
Luke's.
That's the best lightsaber that is in the Star Wars, right there.
Luke Skywalker, the most awkward lightsaber of them all. I don't know who designed it. This feature here is the worst design thing you could ever have on a hilt.
Yeah.
Very uncomfortable.
You're meant to hold. I think you're meant to hold it on the rings, and that's yeah. So that's where you hold it. But
Then you just got this awkward
He's
thing
got man
sticking up
hands.
here.
see,
He's got man hands.
Real
Luke-
fluid here.
Luke is so powerful at that stage that he doesn't even
You
need
would've
to.
dropped it right
He doesn't
now.
even need to hold it with 2
Get outta
hands,
here.
bro.
Quit freaking twirling it.
So I got this. We got the Luke one. Now
Epic, dude.
it is my growing collection. I have to. There's a separate piece to put the blade in.
Hell yeah.
So I have to like attach and detach this thing. But this is like
The sound effect's nice.
I haven't put the batteries in yet, but the sound effects on they're the same as the other one I got, and they're nice. So like this, you put it in, and then it has a place where you put the blade on.
Yeah.
So like
So
so I just gotta do that, and then I have 2 lightsabers now.
So
I have
for-
my own personal one that I built myself, and Luke's.
Hell yeah, dude. That is after the final episode of Mando 2, I needed to buy mine. Like I had to get one built. I needed it. I needed it. I wanted it since I was fucking 7 years old, but I needed it after that.
I feel
I'm
like
paid
I gotta
up-
start
I'm
building
paid
a
up
wall
on
now,
that.
you know?
Yeah. Oh, dude, like I can't wait to get like my own stream room. Like you can't see it right now, but there's a shelf behind me where I have like my game collection and stuff like that, and I actually have Luke's blade, his first one. The first lightsaber you ever see in Star Wars is sitting on that shelf on a stand. You can't see it now, but it's just I can't wait till I have like a proper stream room where you're gonna be able to see my back wall, and I have like a flash helmet. I've got all this cool shit that I just can't wait to showcase on the stream. Like it's gonna be great.
My question is, do I call this Luke's lightsaber or is this Rey's?
No,
No,
she
no,
tossed
no.
it.
No, she never. Ray thankfully never touched that lightsaber
Oh,
ever.
don't you do it.
She never touched that lightsaber
Right,
ever,
you're right.
dude.
She did?
That
Okay.
lightsaber dies with Luke. That one is never seen. So basically, the story behind that lightsaber is between episodes 5 and 6. So after Luke loses his hand, he goes back to Tatooine and he goes to Obi-Wan's home. And when he's in Obi-Wan's house, he finds his old journal, and in his journal, Obi-Wan wrote down how he built his lightsaber, and that's why Luke's one, which is the one you're holding, is so similar to Obi-Wan's one from episode 3 and 4 because he modeled it off the exact same thing. So, and I think it's just laziness when they first made the movies. It's just like, we'll make one that looks just like that. We're using the same molds and everything, but then they wrote it into the story that Luke actually went back to Tatooine. So
Yeah,
I thought that's kind of
awesome.
cool. Yeah, I thought it was cool.
Very excited.
Nice
She got-
saber.
Yeah, dude.
It's very lucky. She got a discount one. It was like, it's not. She didn't pay full price for it, so it's very fortunate to get it. But they like marked the bottom of them. Like this one's like originally like 160. She got it for like $40.
Wow, great.
But
Nice.
they dremel the bottom a little bit to put a mark on it, so you can't like resell them.
Yeah,
Can
yeah.
you get her a stiff high five next time you see her for me? That's a fucking steal, bro.
I want when you put the batteries in and like charge that up, and I'll definitely do like a TikTok or something, just like turning it on and showing it off for sure.
I'm a nerd.
You gotta, bro.
Love me.
You gotta.
So I just think mine's better than it though. So, but you know, it's nice. My lightsaber's a little better than Luke's. That's all.
Facts. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Do we have anything else to talk about? We're about to hit the 2-hour mark, so I think this could be a good time to break for the week.
Yeah,
Unless we have anything else we want to talk about.
I
Any
got nothing.
rumors or anything you guys heard that you liked? Besides all the stuff today.
I'm so shocked that we're not breaking down an Obi-Wan Kenobi trailer right now. Like, what the fuck is
know.
going on? It's crazy.
I heard a couple of
Maybe-
rumors about Alex. I just don't want to bring him up on the air.
Guys, thank you so much for being here tonight. Everyone in the chat who's here, anyone who's listening to us on Spotify, anyone who's listening to us on YouTube, thank you very much. Actually, as well, just to bring up something about the YouTube, we actually crossed the 1,000 plays today.
Let's go.
So 1,000 plays on our small little YouTube channel. We only have 47 followers on it, but we've actually hit over 1,000 views and over, I think, 150 watch time hours, which is pretty big, to be fair.
That's great.
Because
If you guys want to help us out with the algorithm, you can always like any of the videos that you haven't liked yet from the past podcast. You can go through, just hit some likes on them.
Hell yeah.
Bump the algorithm for the chaps just a little bit.
Amen.
Give us that boost.
And that'll put future videos that we upload into your homepage as well. So
Yeah.
go support the YouTube channel, please. Guys, have a
Only
great.
if you guys are gonna watch a bit of the thing. If you just go there, hit the like and leave, that actually hurts us. You got to watch a little bit of the video. So just leave it up in
Yeah.
the background, let it run for 20 minutes, and then
Yeah,
that helps it out.
yeah, absolutely. Because like even obviously we have like 25 videos up on that channel, and a lot of them are like 2 hours, 3 hours long. So when you hear like 150 hours watch time, it's actually not that much. But when you Hoffman knows this very well, like when you start going into the algorithm or like the analytics of each video, you'll see an average like watch time of like it might be 7 minutes on a 3-hour video. So it's like it's very hard to keep the interaction. So that's the really hard part about YouTube. Like I've been saying this for a while. Whatever about Twitch, I love Twitch and everything, but I would love to have a successful YouTube channel. Like that's, to me, it seems like that's the Everest of being a content creator, is getting onto a platform like YouTube and having a channel actually do very well. It's very hard to do. So that's the goal.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much.
Great.
We'll talk to you soon. See you next week.
See you next week.
GG's.
Have a good one.
Bye.